Why am I not live on Facebook? The connection was disconnected or unable to stream. What? Well, what a bummer. That's a bummer. Okay, well. 2 options ain't bad. All right, there we go. All right. What's up, guys? We're just getting set up here. Just like after 9:24 on the East Coast here. Back at it on stream. I do want to say what's up. If anyone's here and wants to say what's up, let's get the what's ups out of the way, because once I get rolling, like last week, I'm just rolling and I'm not going to check the chat too much. I'll check obviously periodically, but I had a lot of fun last week. And I learned a lot last week streaming on this bad boy here, that you cannot, under any circumstance, I knew you couldn't play music. Under no circumstance can you even show a music video. Did you know that? After we were live for 3.5 hours. If you didn't watch the stream last week, we were live for 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours. I save the file. I get ready to edit it. And Warner Music Group, I don't know if you watched, but we played like a minute. No sound. We played like a minute of a music video from a band that no one had ever heard of called The Muffs. No offense to The Muffs. We also learned that their lead singer has passed on. God rest her soul. No disrespect to The Muffs. But nobody knows that band. We played a minute of their video from 1995. They didn't even have their own YouTube channel. It was on some random Warner Records YouTube channel. And the Warner Records AI algorithm, whatever you want to call it, flagged that minute of a 3.5 hour live stream and was like, we're going to take this entire video down. I know no one's saying this. It's nice to personify this voice. I know a computer is saying this to me. I'm not saying there's somebody at Warner Records doing this. But they said, we're going to take this video down. This video is blocked. 3.5 hour video. Imagine working for 3.5 hours, talking for 3.5 hours, making content for 3.5 hours. And we're going to take this down unless you cut out this part. And I was like, yeah, I don't care. Who cares about that? It was a minute. But just like, really? So that's one thing we learned on the stream last week. And then the other thing I learned is that we can hang out for a really long time and not get sick of each other, because people were watching the whole time. It was like a 3.5 hour live stream. And then some of these videos that I posted this week did way better than I thought. We were talking about Taylor Swift and her catalog last week. There was a video from the stream that's over on my TikTok. Got like 200,000 views. It's almost at 200,000 views. Now, I am no viral view machine. I'm sure other people, social media superstars, wouldn't bat an eyelash at 200,000. I'm like, dude, I'm famous on the computer. which makes me sound like a very old man. But I thought that was pretty interesting. And then the next day, this Ben Stiller clip from the live stream did like 50,000 views on Instagram. Then the next day, I saw on our YouTube, and I know a lot of people watch this on YouTube, on the YouTube, an Addison Rae video started doing really well. And then the Sydney Sweeney video started doing decent. Again, for the size of, I mean, that was our first episode, bro. If you want to call this like an episodic show. So that started doing well. And then 2 different MGK videos yesterday started doing really well. So I was like, okay, then we just have to do this every Friday. So I'm going to do this every Friday. And I don't know if we'll name it or not. I think it's kind of cool that the majority of people are going to see this as a clip on social media. And they're going to think, oh, he's just making social media videos. But then I think what's cool is like, I don't know if I want to name this or not, if we want to make it a podcast, I don't know. But then it's like, there is a live show. You can watch this live. Like, you're watching this live. We're taping all those clips right now. And I do see we have the Los Bud Light Bros in the house. I do want to ask a question to Los Bud Light Bros, which is a new username from what I'm gathering. Did we get banned on another username? Or is this like a joint account? You get to the Bud Light parents, the Bud Light mom and the Bud Light dad gave you both this YouTube account. I want to put you guys to work if you're here. How's the audio? Because the audio sounds good to me, but I want to make sure that everyone can hear me, and you guys are sort of now, you know what? We're going to make Los Bud Light Bros the tech support of this show, of this program. So let me know if you're still here, fellas, how the audio is. And then we're going to dive into some music news. I just got back from New York City. I was in New York working at MTV, doing the MTV show. Very quick trip. Flew in on Wednesday, walked around, sight saw. Is that the proper tense? Sight saw. New York City is an incredible city because I'm from there. I'm from New Jersey. I grew up going to New York, literally like my earliest memories. There's pictures of me before I even had a cognitive memory, and I'm in New York City. So it's intertwined with my being. It's a city though that I still love to just take in like a tourist. I don't know if you've ever been to New York City, but it's a city where every time I go there, and I go there every couple of weeks, I still want to like look at the buildings. I still want to walk around. I still want to catch that New York City energy. And that New York City energy is incredible, by the way. Every city's got their own special thing, of course. I'm not dogging any city. I'm not saying one's better than the other. Of course, some cities are better than others. But New York is just, it's an inspiring city. All the cliches are true. It's a tough city. It's a resilient city. It's a harsh city. And I love it for all of those things. It is not an easy place to make it, and it is not an easy place to cut your teeth. And I'm really grateful as I get older that is where I'm from, and that is where I cut my teeth, especially in the line of work that I do in the entertainment industry. I think it prepared me like no other city possibly could. So anyways, I walked around the city, and I kind of like took in the city, chilled day on Wednesday, and then on Thursday we taped all day at MTV, and then I flew back today. So it was a really quick trip. Met this guy, Role Model. Well, kind of ridiculous to call him Role Model. He goes by Role Model. His name is Tucker Pillsbury, which is incredible. And I don't know if I was Tucker Pillsbury, if I would rather be a part of the Pillsbury fortune, or if it's more interesting that I'm named Pillsbury, but not a part of the fortune. Because it's not a common name. It's not like Johnson or Adams or something like that, you know, or insert common last name here. Pillsbury, I mean, if you hear the name Pillsbury, you just go Doughboy, right? Pillsbury, Dough. You know? It's like if your last name was Kleenex or something. And I'm not making fun of the name at all. I don't mean to come across like I'm poking fun at the guy's name. It's a great name. I mean, what a name. But that guy, Role Model, is a superstar. Superstar. There are certain people, I mean, think about how many people I've interviewed in my lifetime. And I'm not saying I've interviewed more than anybody else. Of course, people out there have interviewed far more people than me. But I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of people, actors, actresses, artists, bands, singers, everybody in between, right? In terms of music and entertainment, you get a vibe real quick if somebody's got charisma, dude. And there's different forms of charisma. You know, there's people that are probably great on YouTube in an edited setting, and that's not taking anything away from them. That's their skill set. That is where they are most charismatic, right? And then there are people that can walk in a room and you're like, dude, you haven't even said hi, and there's like an energy. And that's the vibe I got from this Role Model dude. I mean, his song Sally when the wine runs out, is that what the full name is? His song Sally is so charming, I listened to that song. They had to have done it 4 or 5 times in rehearsal because they performed it on MTV before our interview. I didn't get sick of it at any time. And I got the vibe that they didn't get sick of it in rehearsal either. That's the other thing. It's like, you know, a lot of you watch bands rehearse when you work in TV, and you can tell they've done this a million times. They've had to do this on radio station visits. They've had to do this on late night TV. Now they're here at MTV and they're doing it. And they're just, you know, they're laboring through the rehearsal. They're laboring through the song. This is the millionth and first time they've had to perform this song this week, probably, right? When they're doing these promo runs on the coasts. And I get that. That's totally, totally understandable. This song, Sally, is so fucking charming and it's so infectious. They looked like, and maybe they're great actors, but they looked like Role Model and his band. Like they were having fun every single time they were playing that song. And we were too. Do you know how good a song has to be? Where it's one thing to stream it over and over again. For them to play it over and over again. I mean, he just did Govball this weekend, Role Model. I bet you he could play that song multiple times in a row and nobody would complain. I mean, that is how charming the song is. And of course, it's an extension of the guy who's a superstar. He's going to be in this movie, he was telling me, and he's never acted before. And I don't know if he's playing lead in the movie. I don't want to misspeak. But he got cast in a movie, and I totally get it. Because if he went into some meeting with some producer or some casting director or some director of a film or a screenwriter, they would have seen what I saw. Dude, that guy is going to be an actor. That guy's going to make great music. I mean, I was blown away. And by the way, this is a guy who talked to this Tucker guy for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes. So I was really blown away by that. I also met an artist named Young Miko, who I was not familiar with, a Latin artist. Latin artists continue to amaze me because of how big the world is, where, you know, I don't speak Spanish, so the music, the Latin music, it doesn't resonate with me obviously as deeply. I'm a lyrics guy predominantly, so it doesn't really, I mean, some of the music's so good that I don't even need to know the lyrics, and I'm like, this is awesome. I just love the musicality of it, and I can sort of tell from the conviction of the vocalist's voice and the inflection. That is interesting. Sorry, I'm realizing this in real time when I'm talking to you. That is really more important than the lyrics. I mean, there's a famous song by Blues Traveler called Hook. One of the most brilliant songs of all time. I think it's 1995. Let me read the lyrics to Hook. This is just, it's so brilliant. I really do love it. And you'll totally get what I'm talking about here. And actually, you know what I'll do? Because I learned this last week. I will bring up the screen. I learned so much last week doing the show with you guys of what not to do and what to do. But anyways, if you're just joining the show, I'm talking about how we'll add to scene, guys. Okay, there we go. And let's just move this over here. Hold on, guys. No, I want to be over there. How do I do that? Sorry, guys. 1 second. No. There we go. Ah, I love it. Okay, cool. So I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this or not. It's kind of like small, but we're talking about how I just realized that it really doesn't matter what you say in the song, because there are Spanish-speaking songs, Spanish language songs that are beautiful, and I have no idea what the fuck the guy's saying, but I can tell he means it. And I think that is more important than anything else. You have to mean it. And there are some good actors that sound like they mean it, and they probably don't mean it, but it still does the same thing. If we believe that you believe, I think you're off to the races in this world of music. And so I was talking about inflection is everything. And Blues Traveler has this song from 1995 called Hook. Now, if you never looked up the lyrics, you would just think it was like a very cool mid-90s radio song. But it's brilliant, and it proves my point. So the verse is, you can see on your screen, it doesn't matter what I say, so long as I sing with inflection that makes you feel that I'll convey some inner truth or vast reflection. But I've said nothing so far, and I can keep it up for as long as it takes. And it don't matter who you are. If I'm doing my job, it's your resolve that breaks. because the hook brings you back. I ain't telling you no lie. The hook brings you back. On that you can rely. And so basically, it's a song about nothing but the hook and the melody. If you look it up, I can't play it, as we learned last week. Can't play music on the show. But if you look it up, it's such an infectious song. And he sounds like he means whatever the hell he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about, but he sounds like he means it. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say, is that's the only thing that matters. So it was all a bunch of pretext for the fact that I'm not that knowledgeable on Latin music because of that language barrier, right? As you might imagine. And I met an incredible artist named young Miko, who I kind of knew. I didn't realize I knew, but I didn't put the pieces together. She's got a really cool song out right now that she interpolates Lollipop by Lil Wayne. And I really dig that song, and that's on my playlist that I listen to every day. And so she came by. 10 million followers on Instagram. Young Miko, massive. First ever Puerto Rican woman to perform at Coachella, and couldn't be cooler. We were chopping it up about fashion, clothing, really more streetwear than fashion. We weren't talking like designers, but she couldn't be cooler, couldn't be more humble. And I don't know when that's airing on MTV, but we got an interview with me and young Miko coming at you soon, if that sounds interesting. Now, I did want to get into music news. That was the MTV trip. It's very fun. And it's crazy that the VMAs are coming up, by the way, because they were talking about that backstage, that people are already starting to work on the VMAs. And I was like, really? They're September 7th this year. UBS Arena, Long Island, same venue we did last year. And I just lose track of time. I go, what time is it? Or I always say that. I go, what time is it? I mean, like, what month is it? And I was like, it's June. I guess that's like, yeah, it's like 3 months out from VMAs. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy how far away that is, but like how not far away that is. In any event, surely someone that should factor into the VMAs this year is Sabrina Carpenter. Sabrina Carpenter just dropped a new song called Manchild. So Sabrina Carpenter, I read this somewhere on the internet. Sabrina Carpenter, and I really like it, so I'll say it. Sabrina Carpenter is throwing her hat into the Song of the Summer race with this song, Manchild. And fans are really reading into a lot of this stuff with Manchild here. As I get that off your screen. Oh no, what did I just drop? Oh, my phone. I always drop my phone. 1 second, guys. Fans are really reading into quite a bit. Sorry about that. I always try to get rid of that and it always comes back. But fans are really reading into this Manchild release because allegedly it's a year exactly to when she released Please, Please, Please. And so Please, Please, Please was apparently about a high-profile guy she was dating. And people are saying because this was released exactly a year after, that this is now about the after effects of that relationship, which I guess they broke up. I'm not the best at celebrity gossip. But Manchild, I will tell you, was produced by Jack Antonoff, a frequent collaborator to not just Sabrina, but to really everybody. I mean, Jack is the man. So funny because last week we were talking about how I said MGK is a really cool guy. Jack Antonoff is a fucking real cool guy. Real cool guy. Really, when I say sober, not sober in the way of, I don't know if that guy drinks or smokes or does whatever the fuck in his free time, but very sober in terms of how he assesses culture and the world and whatnot. So Manchild is a song by American singer Sabrina Carpenter. I love how they always specify that on Wikipedia. So it says that the rumor is that this was released exactly a year after Please, Please, Please. So let's just, for starters, because in stan culture, I will say, all these rumors abound. And it's like, is that true? It is true. It's kind of true. Yeah, it's true. June 6th. Wow. So exactly a year. Huh. All right. That's interesting. And what was that? That was produced. Well, it was done at Electric Lady Studios, so I'm sure Jack Antonoff did it. Yeah, Jack Antonoff was a songwriter and a producer on it. So back with Jack for Manchild. And just some information, I guess. Carpenter shared a cryptic Instagram post hinting at the release of new music. The singer released a teaser video showing her staying on the side of a road wearing Daisy Dukes, holding out for a truck to drive her home. At the end of the otherwise silent clip, she can be heard saying, "Oh boy." And that's what kicks off the song. If you listen to it today, is her going, "Oh boy." And then the song kicks in. Basically, it's being called a mix of bouncy 80s synth pop and light country. I think Sabrina Carpenter does the best job of anyone in music right now of straddling that line of pop and country. Because Sabrina Carpenter is playing the pop superstar game, and part of the pop superstar game is pop radio. Pop radio is predominantly not going to play your song if there's too much twang in it, if there's too much country in it. You know, you'll have the anomalies like a Morgan Wallen Last Night. I mean, that's just like a world beater of a song. You'll have Post Malone and Morgan Wallen, world beater of a song. Back in the day, I'm sure Shania Twain got top 40 pop radio airplay. But those are crossovers, or like an early Taylor Swift, right? But Sabrina like dances with the country, the twang, the sensibility, but she doesn't go too far where you go, I can't play this on pop radio. And I don't know if that's a Sabrina thing, if that's a Jack thing. I don't know what it is. It's brilliant though. And I see what you're doing. It's like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme. He's pointing at the screen from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And it's like, I see what you're doing and I love it and I'm for it and you're doing a great job. See, now I'm two memes. Now I'm Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood pointing it out. And now I'm Kris Jenner going, you're doing great, baby. You're doing great, honey. Keep it up, guys. Keep it up. I'm going to be up for fucking ever, by the way. 9:45 p.m., I'm drinking coffee. It's not going to end well, guys. It's not going to end well. And apparently this relationship didn't end well with Sabrina Carpenter and whoever the hell the song's about. You know why I don't like getting into celebrity gossip? Is because it's weird. And I don't know these people, but it's weird when I hear people talk about celebrities I do know. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to comment on that. I know that fucking guy. And I don't know him like your best friend. But it's like, you work with the guy. That's a good analogy. I think that's a really good analogy. Like, if you don't work in the entertainment industry, have you ever wondered what it's like a relationship, the kinship between like artists and like a guy who does what I do? It's like, you're buddies with some, but even that is like, you go to school with them. Does that make sense? Like, they're classmates and you're good friends, or you do business together. You know what I mean? Like, they're there to promote a record and you're there to like make them look good and like hopefully get some good sound bites that in this day and age, a lot of the goal is like, hey, I hope a clip comes out of this that does well, you know? But when you get to know some of these people, you realize they're just human beings, and it's like weird to talk about other human beings, like relationships. I don't know. I would probably be getting more views. Not that I'm mad about views, but I would probably be getting more views if I was like more into that crap. But it feels weird to dive into this shit that I have no idea what happened between these two people, and nor do I really care. But I don't think you're here to get celebrity gossip news. I don't think you would follow Kenney for celebrity gossip news. But anyways, Sabrina Carpenter dropped this song, and the video is very, very cool. I don't know who directed the video. We can look it up. Who directed? See, I can't even watch music videos with you guys. Isn't that a bummer? Who was it? Oh, two different people that I haven't heard of. Huh. Oh, Gal Mugia and Vania Heyman. Okay, cool. Not familiar, but the video is very cool. I would encourage you to check it out. And I think Sabrina Carpenter, I want to say this about this topic. Sabrina Carpenter deserves a lot of credit. And I don't think she's getting the credit she deserves. She's getting the accolades. So she's getting the number one hits and the amazing VMA performances. That was so cool, dude. Last year at the VMA, she came down on this like chair thing. That sounds so stupid, but it was like a chair thing. Look it up. And it was really cool. And there may have been a disco ball involved. And then, wait, didn't she make out with a Martian? That was a weird performance. I will say, I hated how the VMAs were set up last year because we were so far away from the stage. It was weird. You're usually on the stage when you work at MTV and you're where they put you. So it's really cool. You're like immersed in it. You're so close. Dude, we were like far. I'm not like complaining about my seats or nothing like that, but it was like the setup of the UBS Arena. I hope they do it differently this year. It's because I'm trying to remember Sabrina's performance, and I'm like, oh yeah, maybe maybe she did make out with a Martian, but it happened way the hell over there. Anyway, Sabrina Carpenter is getting the accolades. She's getting the top 10 hits, the number 1 albums, the number 1 hits, all that good stuff. The airplay just out the wazoo. She's all over U.S. radio right now and probably UK radio over there as well in the pop formats. But she's not getting enough credit for completely flipping the disposition and the point of view and the dynamic of the female pop star of the moment. I'll give you an example. Please, Please, Please is a song that we just said she released a year ago. The whole point of the song is like, hey, dude, I like you. And maybe this turns into something, but maybe it doesn't. I just did my makeup really nice. I know I look great. Don't you be a dick, and don't you be an F-boy, and make me get upset and cry and ruin this makeup. Please don't embarrass me, right? Don't embarrass me. Don't be an idiot. Don't let me catch you texting a chick. Don't let me catch you cheating. Don't let me catch you in the DMs of an OnlyFans girl, right? Because, like, I have an ego, and women are allowed to have egos. And that being said, in pop music, and we'll dive into this more, but that being said, in pop music is a big deal, okay? Because when I was a kid, the leading pop star wrote songs like, I'm a slave for you, right? It's not literal, but think about that. The pop star of the day, Britney Spears, her lead single on a given album was a song about being in servitude to the love interest. I'm a slave for you, right? Now, the leading pop star, Sabrina Carpenter, is saying, no. Like, I don't even need you, dude. But you're kind of cute. I kind of dig what we got going on here. Let's see where this goes. Just don't be a fucking idiot, right? And I think that deserves a lot of credit. That is a massive shift in popular music in terms of what women are saying on records, in terms of messages that are getting out there. And that has a big ripple effect. It really does. Young women listening to this and going, oh, because like they've probably always felt that dealing with these fucking idiot guys, right? But there wasn't that representation in popular music like Sabrina's doing right now. So as catchy as these songs are, as great as these songs are, as feel good as they are, I think it's really historically important what she is saying on these records and the power dynamic shifting where the woman doesn't need the man. You know, or I don't want to gender it like that, but you get what I'm saying. In Sabrina's case, it seems that's the case. I think that's really, really, really progressive and really, really groundbreaking in popular music. And I know you can go back to the history books and there's probably, you know, like Beyonce had Irreplaceable, of course. That wasn't the norm though, dude. That was not the norm. You know, it was all about Christina Aguilera's Dirty, bro. Her lead single, Dirty. It's about like, wow, like it's like the male gaze, as they say, right? It's all through that. It's like, yeah, she's dirty, right? More attractive to men, men's interests, right? Men's idea of an attractive woman. But now it's like Sabrina in these hit songs. These are hit songs. Disregarding whatever the guy is talking about. Who cares what the guy's talking about? It's what she's talking about. And I think that's a big deal. And Manchild is the same thing. There's this trend of like calling dudes out. And I know dudes are going to hear this. You go, oh, they're going to get defensive. Bro, if you're a good guy, they're not calling you out, bro. They're calling shitty guys out. And I think that's good. I think that's good for pop music. I think that's good for the fans of pop music to let them know, hey, like if you're treated like crap, like fuck that guy. Like, you know what I mean? So I think she deserves a lot of credit for doing that. A lot of credit. Especially Manchild now, a continuation of what I'm talking about, where, I mean, she's just calling it on. I mean, these lyrics are great. We got to read some of these lyrics together. Manchild from Sabrina. Just dropped today. Yeah, I mean, this is so relatable too. I mean, if we have any ladies in the house, this is just unbelievably relatable, I bet. And I'm obviously not speaking from experience. I'm speaking from my. We need it. By the way, we need a term for friends that are girls, bro. And I'm not saying gal pals. Do not suggest gal pals. But girls can say guy friends. Yeah, my guy friend. So you're like, oh, you're not dating your guy friend, Jerry. But if I say, yeah, one of my girlfriends, it's like, what are you like? What does that mean? I just met your girlfriend. You're cheating on your girlfriend. You talk about it that brazenly. What a jerk. No, I'm not. I just don't know what to call. I'm not gonna say female friends. My female friends. That gives me the creeps. But let me bring up these lyrics. If you can think of a term for friends that are girls, but they ain't my girlfriend, right? I'm not buying them nothing for Valentine's Day. No hanky-pankies going on. Nothing to see here, officer. They happen to be a woman. And we're friends. What do we call those people? All right, let's bring up these lyrics for... Have you eaten yet? What is that, an ad? Also, I'm really going to get in a fight with my streaming software for putting that on the wrong side continuously. Dude, all right, hold on. I think that's better for you. Can you get out of here, bro? Like, really? That's going to be that big on the screen? All right, then forget that. God, that's just like bad advertising. Now I resent that product. You ever notice that with advertising? It's like, when they think it's like, no, stuff it down their throat, get it in their face. No, bro, I will fucking hate your product. Get the fuck away from me. It's like, just like, it's so overbearing. Sorry, pop-ups and shit like that. Anyways, Sabrina Carpenter, check out these lyrics. You said your phone was broken, just forgot to charge it. By the way, the worst. That's a genderless excuse. The worst. I don't want to hear in 2025 that you didn't have your phone on you, that your phone wasn't charged, your phone died, that you didn't check your phone. Bro, everyone's on their phone. Everyone's on their phone. I would rather you just tell me I didn't want to fucking answer you right now. Because, dude, there's tons of people I don't want to fucking answer where I see, like, people I love. And I'll be like, I can't talk to so-and-so right now. You know what I mean? You know that feeling? You get a text and you're like, okay, like, I'm going to answer that later. Don't tell me your phone was off. Don't tell me your phone was dead. Don't tell me any of that shit. You hear me? She goes, whole outfit you're wearing, God, I hope it's ironic. That's just funny. I mean, men's biggest fear is being laughed at. You know that, right? So that's a good dig. Did you just say you're finished? Didn't know he started. I mean, I think there's a double. She's so good at the double entendre thing too. Because I remember when she started doing like the dirty outros. Remember that? Where she would do like the sexual innuendo outros to that song, Nonsense. What a pull. You ever tear a hamstring pulling a piece of information out of your brain? I just did that. Ouchie. Nonsense. Good job, Kev. But that's like a double entendre there. You could take that a couple different ways. But I remember when she first started doing it, it was like weird. It wasn't weird. I kind of found it to be weird because I was like, I didn't get it. I didn't get what she was doing. She was obviously just being herself. She's got that sense of humor. But now I think it's like, it's amazing because now that's, when you think of that, you think of her. And it totally differentiates her from anybody else. That sort of sense of humor, if you will. It's all just so familiar, baby. What do you call it? This is great. She goes, stupid or is it slow? Maybe it's useless, but there's a cute word for it. I know. Manchild. Why you always coming and running to me? F my life. Now, this is the one place in the song I'm going to offer some tough love, okay? I have showered Sabrina with compliments all segment long. One of my pet peeves, whether it's a dude or a chick or no matter who you date. I mean, that's what's so funny. No matter who you date, no matter what your orientation, we all deal with the same bullshit. You know that? It's kind of funny. It's funny how like people will use sexual orientation to divide. And it's like, you idiots, we're all the same. We're all dealing with the same stuff. We're all dealing with the same issues in these relationships. We're all dealing with the same effery. I don't think I should curse that much on here because that's another thing we might learn. I don't want to get demonetized. Effery from whoever we're dating in the single life. Why don't we just let that bring us together? Camaraderie. It's whatever. It's a conversation for another day. But anyways, this is a big pet peeve of mine. When people are like, why do all these bad guys find me? Why do all these toxic women find me? Right? Dude, you're pursuing those people. Right? Like women that are like, all my ex-boyfriends are jerks. Or like guys will be like, all my ex-girlfriends were crazy. Really, bro? They were all crazy. Really? Really? Oh, all your ex-boyfriends were abusive. I just think it's like people attract certain energies. So that's my one thing is why you always coming and running to me. It's because, Sabrina, there's something you're doing, Sabrina, that's attracting these man children, all right? But in Sabrina's defense, there's a ton of man children now. I mean, I think that, like, what could go wrong? I say that ironically. When you give kids iPhones at a young age, where they just customize their iPhone, all the apps they want. They customize their social feed, so they only get things they like. You can watch whatever you want, whenever you want. You can listen to whatever you want, whenever you want. You can go on dating apps, and there's zero accountability. I mean, you could just completely lead somebody on and ghost them. No record, right? Because there's just no social consequence, because a lot of times on dating apps, you don't know these people, right? So you do that, and then that guy gets to be 25 years old, 30 years old, and he's been living in that world. Yeah, why would he not, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we're going to have not a generation, I don't mean hyperbolic. We're going to have a lot of man children out there in the field, ladies, all right? And if you date, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And my point there with the technology is just like, we have this generation of people who have never been told no. If you wanted to listen to an album and you didn't own it 30 years ago, you were told no because you didn't have the album. If you wanted to watch your favorite show and your favorite show was on Thursdays and it was Tuesday, you were told no because you had to wait 2 days. Like, people used to get told no, and now they don't get told no. So I think it's just going to breed more man children is my point. The second verse on Manchild. Why so sexy if so dumb? And how survive the earth? And how did you survive the earth so long? If I'm not there, it won't get done. I choose to blame your mom. That's kind of funny. This is great, man. There's a bridge. She goes, oh, I like my boys playing hard to get, and I like my men all incompetent. And I swear they choose me. I'm not choosing them. Amen. Hey, men. Oh, I like my boys playing hard to get, and I like my men all incompetent. And I swear they choose me. I'm not choosing them. And I'm sure the way she delivers that line addresses exactly what I was just talking about, where there's a little bit of like self-deprecation there, which she's also great at. Sabrina's awesome, dude. But it is a big deal, I think. And I think it's something worth talking about, how the script has been flipped. And the power dynamic, lyrically in mainstream pop songs now, the pop stars, the songstresses, have the power in the lyrical narratives that they're putting out there. And I think that's a big shift, dude. I think it's a really big shift. I'm sure there's other examples in recent hit songs where you can notice that if you think about it. Speaking of pop stars, we got to talk about Taylor Swift. But first, who do we have here? We have Marin the Rizzler. Please, can I get a shout out? You just got one, Marin. Snorlax, what's up? How are you? Thank you, guys. I rarely do this, but could you like this video wherever you're watching it? Could you like it? Commenting is great. If there's anything else you can do that positively impacts this video, I would appreciate it. For those that are just joining, just to reset the show briefly, I'm going to be doing this every Friday, fully committed. The videos did so well on social this week and on my YouTube. I was like, bro, we're doing this every Friday, at least for the next 3 to 4 months every Friday. So I don't know what you guys do on Fridays, but if you want to hang out, you want to talk about music, obviously we'll get into like life and stuff like that. I also think I'm going to put this out as a podcast. If you're here and you're live, you probably all, you're important because you care enough to be here. Let me know if you think that this would be cool as a podcast. Like I would just put out this audio, edit it down a little bit so you don't have to go through the bullshit. But yeah, let me know. Because maybe you don't want to stay for the full 3.5 hours. I'll talk tonight and you want to listen to it throughout the week. Let me know. But it's good to see everybody. I want to shout out to, again, Marin the Rizzler, Los Bud Light Bros, Snorlax, and everybody else watching tonight. We have less viewers tonight. Not that I give a shit. But we have less viewers because Facebook didn't connect for some reason. So that's a bummer. But what are you going to do? Oh. No, I won't do that. Don't worry about it. Anyways. Let me get back over here. And we have to talk. We have to talk about Taylor Swift. Last week on the show, we were talking about Taylor Swift, and we were talking about how she got her catalog back, okay? This is another person in pop music, in popular music right now, that gets a ton of credit. Everybody knows Taylor Swift, the GOAT. Taylor Swift, incredible. $2 billion generated from her Eras tour. Number one albums on 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 number one albums. She doesn't get enough credit for the relationship that Taylor has with her fans, okay? And I'm going to explain it to you like this before I really dive into this topic. Let's say you have 5 friends. If you have 5 friends, I'm talking like real best friends, okay? 5 best friends. You are blessed. I mean, you are living the high life. You got 5 people you can count on in your life. They're your crew. You guys are tight, thicker than thieves. 5 best friends. Congratulations, first of all, if that speaks to you and your social circle. How many times have you been able to get all 5 of those best friends to agree to do the same thing? Never? Yeah, I'll take never for 1,000, Alex. Thank you. Probably never. No, seriously, probably never. It's impossible, especially over the age of 25. People start developing their own lives. You're not going to get all your best friends to, oh, we're all going to go to this place on this date at this time. Good luck. Taylor Swift and her relationship with her fans is so incredible that without even saying so, without even giving directive, without explicitly instructing them, because of the relationship Taylor has with her fans, because of the mutual respect of that relationship that Taylor gives her fans, because Taylor never speaks down to her fans. I want you to point, really pay attention to that. Taylor doesn't speak down to her fans like they're the public and she's Taylor Swift. You read the tone of voice and her writing voice when it comes to her social media captions, when she makes announcements to her fans. It's very one-to-one. It's very friend-to-friend. It's peer-to-peer. It's very equal. I think that's powerful. She doesn't really do any BS marketing. She never tries to get one over on her fans. You ever notice that? She never takes advantage of her fans. And what that does, that breeds this amazing, mutually respectful relationship where she doesn't have to say, stream my new album. She doesn't have to say, buy my records. She doesn't have to say, see me on tour, right? She doesn't have to gamify anything. There's this mutual respect where they're going to do what's right. And I make that joke about trying to get the best friends to do one thing. 5 people. This weekend, I want you to do me a favor. This weekend, try to get 5 of your friends to do one thing. And then DM me on social media and go, that went fucking terrible. Taylor Swift is able to get millions and millions and millions and millions of people to all do the same thing without even asking. Listen to these numbers from this week. Spotify streams increased for Taylor Swift's original albums after buying back her masters. This is THR, the Hollywood Reporter, reporting. Listen to these numbers. 1989. The streams for 1989 up over 110%. 110%. Red, 150%. Fearless, up 160%. Reputation, up 175%. Self-titled, Taylor Swift, up over 220%. And Speak Now, up over 430%. Now, those were initial numbers. They could be way better by the time you see this on social media. That is effing incredible. And what it is the fans acknowledging we can support this art now because it's in the rightful hands of their favorite artist. And Taylor didn't say to do that. Go find me a clip of Taylor Swift saying, okay, guys, now stream these. No. It's that incredible, and I would argue, unprecedented. We've never seen this in popular music, relationship between a solo artist and their fan base, where an unspoken thing like that can happen. I think that's incredible. I really do. Now let's see which albums are doing the best. Let's see if this has been updated. Oh, gotta do a little thing here. Do a little housekeeping. I don't think I want to say what I'm doing right now. I'm not doing anything like bad, but there was something wrong with the article that I had to do. Anyways, has this been updated? These are the ones that are doing the best. So Billboard has an article that says, which Taylor Swift albums are seeing the biggest gains after she reclaimed her masters? The answer might surprise you. Let's see if it surprises us. It says here, excuse me. It says here, Taylor Swift is enjoying quite the sales boost following her Friday announcement on May 30th that she had purchased the masters of her first 6 albums. Based on preliminary data from Luminate, that's how Billboard tracks all of the data, Luminate, we're starting to get a sense of which albums Swifties are tuning into the most to celebrate. Now, looking at her Republic Records studio catalog, not including the Taylor's version re-recordings, all those albums experienced gains from Friday to Saturday. So those are the first 2 days, right? Ranging from the slight 5.6% gain that the Tortured Poets department experienced in sales when compared to the daily average of the preceding 11-day period. This is so boring. To the 21.9% increase of her Evermore album. All right, that's all well and good. Moving over to Swift's Big Machine albums, the original 1989 album had the least amount of growth, but even its percentage increase of 41.2% swamped. So I hold on. We're going to cut it right here because I think I have newer numbers. I think these are older numbers. Water break. But just incredible. I mean, really, really incredible that without any directive, without any marketing or advertising plan, saying, hey, everyone go stream these, they just knew. That's incredible. Now, Taylor Swift, obviously not on cycle, as they say in the music industry. She's not dropping anything this summer to our knowledge, maybe this fall, but nothing that is contending for Song of the Summer. But plenty of other songs are, and Billboard just released the first Song of the Summer chart for this year. So let's check this out, and I'll share this with you. You always got to check now. Man, these ads are terrible. Popping up everywhere. Give me a second here, guys. There we go. All right, hopefully you can see that. So this is basically every year, Billboard, in addition to all the other charts they do. How many charts does Billboard do? A lot. Billboard always does the Song of the Summer chart. And depending on the year, it's either a close race, it's really exciting, or something is just so massive, there's obviously a Song of the Summer. Some years there's not a song of the summer. We'll get to that. There's a famous year that really didn't have a song of the summer. You could argue it did, but it really didn't. We'll explain that in a second. I remember my first summer at Billboard. That's where I started in the music industry. 2017, it was Despacito, and it was so obviously Despacito. One of the first real true streaming hits where we didn't even know what we were looking at. We couldn't believe a 17-week #1. I mean, it was... Because you got to remember, in 1995, you have One Sweet Day. Mariah Carey, Boyz II Men. Two of the biggest, if not the two biggest, best-selling acts of the 90s in terms of popular music, coming together on a duet that was written by Mariah Carey, Michael McCary, Nathan Morris, Wayna Morris, Sean Stockman. So they wrote it. Wow. They wrote that song. There's nobody else. Can you imagine that? The artists wrote the song. That happens today sometimes, but it's, there's a lot of songwriters now in the game and great ones at that. That's incredible. But anyways, 1995, 1996, One Sweet Day, Mariah Carey, Boyz II Men becomes the longest running #1 song at #1 for consecutive weeks in Billboard history. That's 1996. That stays until 2017, so 21 years. It's pretty incredible. 2017, Despacito breaks it. Then eventually, 2 years later, it's the whole problem with streaming. And we talked about it all last week with diamond certifications. They need new rules. They can't call it the same thing. It shouldn't take a record 21 years to be broken. And then that record gets broken in 2 years. That's weird to me. So anyways, I'm saying in 2017, Despacito breaks the record. And then in 2019, Lil Nas X with Old Town Road breaks that record. But in 2017, Song of the Summer, Despacito. 2018, I'm pretty sure it's In My Feelings by Drake. 2019, it's Old Town Road. 2020, it's Lil Baby. No, sorry, not Lil Baby. Da Baby and Roddy Ricch, right? With Rockstar. I think that's who did Rockstar. The Baby was on it. 2021, let's look this up. Billboard Songs of the Summer, past years. Let's see. Wow. All right, this is Billboard's greatest of all time songs of the summer. Billboard's greatest songs of the summer of all. How do you say this? Billboard's greatest of all time songs of the summer. I'm going to give you the top 10. At number 10, When Doves Cry, Prince. At number 9, I Just Want to Be Your Everything, Andy Gibb. At number 8, 2005, We Belong Together. At number 7, The Police, Every Breath You Take, which then became a big hit in 1997 with Mr. P. Diddy. At number 6, 2019, Old Town Road, Lil Nas X featuring Billy Ray Cyrus. At number 5, just talked about this, 2017, Despacito, Luis Fonsi, Daddy Yankee, and Justin Bieber. Number 4, summer 2013, Blurred Lines, Robin Thicke. Number 3, Tossin' and Turnin', Bobby Lewis. At number 2, The Boy Is Mine, Brandy and Monica. And at number 1, wow, Puff Daddy, Faith Evans, 112, I'll Be Missing You. So that song, Sting, Every Breath You Take, kind of makes 2 appearances in this top 10. I apologize, guys. Something is getting down my throat right now. Getting back to that Sabrina Carpenter point, how I was saying earlier that she has completely flipped the script on the voice of a leading female pop star in terms of their relationship with their love interest counterpart. Think about The Boy Is Mine. Big, big, big pop hit. Summer 1998. The whole song is about a guy who's dating 2 women and cheating on each other. And the moral of that story isn't, yo, F this guy. The moral of that story is, no, he's my man. So think about how far we've come from that. I think that's incredible. That is a shift in culture, guys. That is a shift. To go from a song like The Boy Is Mine, where the dude is not the villain, to now a song of the summer in 2025 might be called Manchild. I think that's a big deal. So those are the top 10 Billboard songs of all time. I don't even know. Oh yeah, I forgot. I gotta remember to share the screen, guys. But you get the idea. So let's look at this year's Song of the Summer chart. Now, just so you know how this works, this is gonna get updated every week. So this is what it looks like now. It might not look like this at the end of the summer. At number 1 is Ordinary, Alex Warren, which is a song we're going to talk about in a little bit because we have to talk about this. This is the number 1 song in the country right now. Alex Warren, Ordinary, number 1 song in the country. Might be the number 1 song in the world. I have a lot of questions. Number 2. I feel like I'm having an allergic reaction or something. I really apologize for all the coughing. What I Want, Morgan Wallen, featuring Tate McRae. That was number 1 last week. We'll see. I don't know if I've heard that song. Have you guys heard that song like in the wild? Just in Case, Morgan Wallen. I'm the Problem, Morgan Wallen. Luther, Kendrick Lamar, and SZA. That's not going to be Song of the Summer. That was the Song of the Winter. That's losing steam actively. It's number 5 right now, but it's not gonna be Song of the Summer. Die with a Smile, not gonna be Song of the Summer. Too old. Came out too early. Not a knock on Gaga or Bruno, just like that wasn't even the point of that song. The point of that song was probably a Grammy look, which they got. Not the Song of the Summer. It's not going to be the Song of the Summer. Nokia Drake, I think this song has already peaked. I don't think that's going to be the Song of the Summer. Anxiety Doechii, I feel like that song has already kind of peaked. I don't think that's going to be Song of the Summer. Pink Pony Club, Chappell Roan. I mean, that was last summer, dude. Love Somebody, Morgan Wallen. I don't think Morgan Wallen's going to have the Song of the Summer. I just don't. I Got Better, Morgan Wallen. A lot of Morgan Wallen. I Ain't Coming Back, Morgan Wallen. Mutt, Leon Thomas. Great song. Love this song. Big radio hit in the U.S. Not going to be Song of the Summer. Big X The Plug, Bailey Zimmerman, All the Way. Not going to be Song of the Summer. The Song of the Summer is not going to be a niche. And not that that's niche. They're both big artists. But it's not going to be a country hit. You're not gonna play that. The Song of the Summer has to be in power rotation on pop stations in the United States, and that song's not gonna be in power rotation on pop stations in the United States. Superman, Morgan Wallen, not gonna happen. Apartment, I think that's how I say that. APT. Rose and Bruno Mars, not gonna be. Too old. 20 Cigarettes, not gonna be. Blue Strips, very catchy song, probably gonna be the big breakthrough song for Jesse Murph. Not gonna be Song of the Summer. Sports Car, not gonna be Song of the Summer. Tate McRae. Riley Green, not going to be Song of the Summer. Wow, and that's it. So then that leaves you with a question of what is going to be the Song of the Summer? What is going to be Song of the Summer? Thinking about that. It's already June. So the likelihood that it's out already is big. Now, I'm wondering if I can go to charts and look at radio songs. Oh, but they're going to say, that's really annoying. This is going to be behind a paywall. Yeah, it's annoying. Sorry, Billboard. I think Billboard alumni should just get stuff for free. Is the Hot 100 behind a paywall? Because at least this will give us an idea of like some songs coming up the pike, as they say. Yeah, so like look at this, like Beautiful Things, Too Old to be Song of the Summer, Lose Control, Too Old. Also, how weird is music right now? How weird is music where the Billboard Top 10 has a bar song, Shabuzi, from last summer, Die With a Smile, 6 months old, Lose Control, Teddy Swims, that's 2 years old, Beautiful Things, Benson Boone, last summer, all still in the top 10, bro. Is that good for music? Anxiety Doechii, I just don't think that's going to be Song of the Summer. Birds of a Feather, like that's been out. Billie Eilish? I Had Some Help, Too Old. That was last summer. Was that not last summer? I Had Some Help. Let's see. Espresso last summer is still number 21 on the Billboard Hot 100. Messy already peaked by Lola Young. That's not going to be Song of the Summer. Timeless is not going to be Song of the Summer. I mean, look, Somber, Undressed, that's the first one where I go maybe. That jumped 20 spots in a week. But he needs a moment. And it's like, what cultural events are happening between now and the fall? VMAs are too... You're not going to have a Song of the Summer moment at the VMAs. They happen in September. You need something to happen. Like at Lolla. Who's playing Lollapalooza this year? Let's look up this lineup. Because you need a moment like that. Okay, so Tyler, the Creator, Luke Combs headlining. Olivia Rodrigo is headlining. Now, does Olivia come in with a song? Are we expecting new music from Olivia Rodrigo? That could be interesting. Korn. Not going to be Korn. Fucking love Korn. Not going to be Korn. Rufus Du Sol, no. Twice, no. Sabrina Carpenter is headlining Lollapalooza. That's pretty interesting when you think about Manchild. Because there's nobody else really on here that has a contender. The dark horse candidate for Song of the Summer is Lola Young, One Thing. That song is great. Where is that on the Hot 100 right now? Let's check this out. It's not even on the Hot 100? Really? Does Addison Rae have any songs in the Hot 100? Addison Rae doesn't have any songs in the Hot 100? It's weird. It's weird. Somber's a huge star, by the way. I mean, to jump 20 spots in a week with a song called Undressed, that's a big deal. Only 8 weeks on the Hot 100. Somber, already at number 29, going from 49 to 29 in a week. Okay? So watch that one. Then, just a couple spots back, 7 spots back, Somber, Back to Friends, great song. That jumped from 62 to 36. Somber is another one. You know when you watch a horse race and you see that horse just making ground on the outside little by little? That might be Somber. So Somber is in the conversation. Love Me Not, Raven Lenae, definitely in the conversation. That jumped from number 59 last week to 37. That's officially top 40. And what a great song. And that's a song where the sounds of that song, the musicality of that song, that's going to speak to multiple generations. Because it sounds vintage. If you know that song, Love Me Not. Has a TikTok trend already. But I don't know if that's going to be Song of the Summer. Manchild's very interesting as a candidate for Song of the Summer. One Thing, Lola Young, if that catches some steam, I think that could be big. It's a little unorthodox in terms of its composition and arrangement. I love that about it. But to reach the amount of people you need to be Song of the Summer, I don't know. I'm going down the list here. Hopefully you guys are watching and following along. I don't think it's going to be this Alex Warren guy. And this is all just Morgan Wallen, man. Yeah, nothing's really... MGK debuted at number 62 this week. I thought that would have been a little higher, but if he starts getting like radio behind him, that's an interesting song. But again, Song of the Summer just seems so... You need a moment. You need a moment to happen for your song. And I think Sabrina Carpenter is very well positioned to have that moment. Get Manchild going for a month, maybe 2. And then she does something at Lolla. Manchild could be the Song of the Summer. And summer's always a time where like you're single. I don't know. I feel like I'm always single, or I was always single in the summer. You're dating. People are going to be going through issues with stupid men. They're going to be coming home playing that song, Manchild. A lot of TikToks to that song. All right. Are we going to make a prediction right now? I think the song of the summer is a 4-song race. Number 1 has to be, out of respect, Alex Warren, Ordinary. I don't think that's a summer vibe. Not to say that it has to be like the criteria for a song of the summer. That's number 1. The other 3 candidates for song of the summer: Sabrina Carpenter Manchild, given the Lollapalooza headliner spot. Both of these somber songs, okay, they're coming up. That's 3 and 4 for candidates. And number 5 is if we get a song from Olivia Rodrigo, which I have to imagine we are. Why is she headlining Lollapalooza? And forgive me if I'm out of the loop. But I think those are the contenders. Those are your 5 songs that come Labor Day, we can look back at this segment, back at this video, back at this episode and go, one of those went out. I don't think anybody else has a shot. I really don't. No disrespect to anybody. But I think that's what we're looking at right now for Song of the Summer. Now, I mentioned not every summer has a Song of the Summer. Do you remember summer 2015? Summer 2015, what comes to mind? It was the year before, like, what I think is like one of the greatest summers. Summer 2016 was such a great summer. The music was great. Pokemon Go was going crazy, and I never played it, but it was kind of a cool energy to just be out, seeing people do something like that. It was also such cutting edge technology at the time, like that augmented reality. It was really neat, dude. It was really cool. It was just at the start of that like 90s nostalgia coming back, and Pokemon coming back was really kind of neat at the time. And it was cool just to communally do something. Humans love that. I love that. I'm a human, if you haven't heard. But summer 2016, there was something really special. You think about just how, I think throughout history, throughout time, the times that we think are the most special are the hyper-specific times. Like, I think we're going to think the pandemic was special. I think that in 20 years, you're going to see college parties of kids that were children, adolescents, early adolescents during the pandemic, and they'll have pandemic parties where they wear masks. They play like TikTok hits. They'll play like Mood by 24K Golden. They'll play like little Mosey songs. They'll do those classic TikTok dances. I bet TikTok stars are going to do like, you know, they won't be branded like this, but like pandemic era nostalgia tours, that sort of thing, because it was such a hyper specific time. So you can kind of like really experience it versus other times throughout our lives. Like, they're not that hyper specific. 2016 is very hyper specific. It's like fidget spinners. It's like Chance the Rapper. It's Drake Views. It's Rihanna Anti. It's Pokemon Go. It's Lil Yachty. It's Kanye West, Life of Pablo. It's like those Adidas shoes getting cool. Remember Adidas NMDs? It's like, it's that whole aesthetic. 2016 was an amazing time, dude. It really was like an amazing time. And it, not to get political, but it's interesting that we all have these great memories right before this whole new era of politics with Donald Trump and everything that followed Donald Trump in the United States. It's interesting that what we're romanticizing is right before that big change. And I find myself, as a millennial, I do that with 2001. Where I really romanticize like the movies that came out in early 2001, the music that came out in early 2001, because a real disruptive moment in my lifetime was 9/11. I grew up in New Jersey. I had friends that lost parents in the attacks of 9/11. And I mean, to me, that's just a huge dividing line in my life. Life feels different. When I think about before 9/11 and after 9/11, it's completely different. People are going to feel that way about the pandemic. I feel that way about the pandemic. I feel that way about before and after Donald Trump became president, because politics became a different thing after that. They were a different thing before that. I sort of also romanticize a little bit like 1999. I was really little, but like that was sort of pre-internet, pre-millennium. It's interesting we do that. That might be part of the sauce of 2016. Justin Bieber 2016 was great. And honestly, on the topic of that, before we get back to the summer that did not have a song, on the topic of 2016, we need new sounds. Music doesn't have enough new sounds. We have new artists, and I'm not saying that they're not great. Benson Boone, very catchy. Love the backflips. I hope he eventually stops doing them for his own sake. Just odds, one of them is going to go bad. God forbid. But I hope he does. I hope he stops doing them soon for his own safety. He is very athletic, though, clearly. But Benson Boone is kind of just doing Queen, right? And that's not taking anything away from him. But there's a precedent for that sound, what Benson Boone is doing. You could play a guy in 1978, Benson Boone, time travel, and he'd get it, right? He'd understand it. It's not that crazy of a concept. Teddy Swims is doing great soul music. It's not new, though. Beautiful voice. I mean, Lose Control, classic, all-time song, forever song. The new song Teddy just released is beautiful today, but it's not new. You think about even Charlie XCX, Brat. A lot of indie sleaze influence in there. A lot of things. I mean, think about Guess with Billy. It's basically Benny Benassi Satisfaction. It's a great song. Love that song. It's not a new sound. So you go down the list. I mean, even Alex Warren, Ordinary, that sounds like a Hozier song. And I bet most people think Hozier sings that song. There's not a lot of new sounds in music. We need new sounds in music. It's important. Culturally, it's important. I mean, if you go back, you think about 2015, Jack U. Bro, Jack U was so effing crazy when you first heard that. It was insane. People didn't even know what that sound was. They called it the dolphin sound on Where Are You Now? And the New York Times did an interview with Diplo and Skrillex, and they had to show the New York Times how they made music on their laptop, which was a crazy idea at the time, and how they would distort and degrade Justin Bieber's vocal to a point where it would sound like a dolphin squealing, and they would sample Justin Bieber's vocal from the same song that you're listening to, but in a different way, for one of the hooks, quote unquote, of that song. Do you know how new a sound has to be where you have to explain it to people? People are so dumbfounded by what they're hearing. They're going, what is that? How did you do that? I don't know an instrument that does that. What is that sound? I remember Kiara. You remember Kiara? Feels? What was the other Kiara song? But that sort of like chopped up vocal was really interesting at the time. I'd never heard that. You remember Muramasa? Oh my God. So good. So good. Look up these people, by the way, if you don't know who I'm talking about. Even popular artists at the time. Drake 2016 sounds different than Drake 2013. Views sounds different than Nothing Was the Same. Sounds different than More Life. Justin Bieber Purpose sounds different than the Boyfriend record. What's the Boyfriend record he did? Whatever that one's called. Sorry, Justin. Artists used to level up and change their sound. And I think that was good. I think that was a good thing. And there's actually a video that I did want to bring on the chat. And I think we can play this because it's not a song. And I'll cite the guy. But the point is, before I show you the video, we're kind of culturally, we're going in circles. And he'll outline what he means by that and what I mean by that in this video we'll watch together. And let me get this off the screen, by the way. But I don't think it's particularly great for culture that... Oops. Sorry, guys. I don't think it's particularly great for culture that we're just going around and around and around with sounds and with fashion and with even IP. I mean, even movies. I just saw Freakier Fridays coming out. And God bless Jamie Lee Curtis. And God bless Lindsay Lohan. I saw The Naked Gun's getting a reboot with Liam Neeson. Mission Impossible 12 just came out. And actually, that was the most successful Mission Impossible yet. So go figure. Maybe it's working. But I just wonder if, like, historically, when we think about, you know, when we're all long gone, you and me are long gone, in hundreds of years, like, what are they going to say about this interesting early 21st century where we just repeated a lot of this stuff? So anyways, I want to bring up this video that this guy, hold on. He's okay. This guy's screaming, dude, in my ear. But listen to what this guy has to say. I think this is very, very interesting. And what's this guy's name? Average Joe. His name's Average Joe. So I want to properly shout this guy out. But I'll play this for you guys. Okay. Watch this. Oh, wait. Hold on a second, guys. One second. I got to do this right. All right. Beautiful. It's there. Now you can hear it. Listen to what this guy says, and let me know your thoughts.
We're just going in circles now.
Hold on.
Has anyone else noticed that we're just going in circles now? It's with everything. Look at streaming services. It is 100% at a point. It's just cable. It is just like cable. There are hundreds of streaming services, just like there were hundreds of channels that you have to pay for separately. They all run ads on them, and you have to have all of them to have access to your favorite shows.
Okay, so I'll stop him right there. That's just true. And it really does feel like we were sort of sold a lie that all these things would be so disruptive, right? Like Napster was going to change the music industry, and LimeWire and peer-to-peer file sharing and Spotify was going to change the music industry. And then what happened was the label system just sunk their teeth into it, co-opted it, and now it's just the same as radio was in the 20th century. Not saying it's a bad thing. It's nice when there's big hit songs because it brings us together. We all know the same stuff. I think it's arguably better when there's a monoculture of sorts, as long as there's enough representation for minorities and enough representation to go around. I think that's very important for any society, a healthy and good, nourished society. But a monoculture is very nice in a lot of ways because it brings people together. We have commonalities. We can cite similar art and songs and movies and experiences and memories. So I'm not like some rebel saying, take down the system. That's not what I'm saying. But Spotify is literally, and Apple Music and everything, Amazon Music, all the digital streaming platforms, it's just radio now. And the same way that people would want to get, at the front of the store at Tower Records or FYE or Sam Goody, they want to get the cover of New Music Friday. It's the same thing. And what this guy's outlining is how we've totally been duped because streaming was supposed to be incredible because you didn't have to watch commercials and you could watch whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted. It was better. It was different than cable, bro. You wouldn't have to sit there and search. And then what did we slowly, surely but do? Started scrolling more and more. And instead of channel surfing, which was a thing we used to do, what we're doing now is we're just scrolling until we find something, or more often than not, we don't find something and we go, "What? I've just spent 15 minutes scrolling. I don't even want to do this. I'm going to bed." It's the same thing. And now they have the audacity to run ads. So now we're paying for the service and we're watching ads. And like he says in the video, oh, well, my favorite show, I love this show on Max, but I also love this show on Paramount Plus, and then I love this show on Apple TV, and you gotta buy all this stuff, and dude, you're spending more money than you were just with your old cable setup. So it's interesting. He's got more points though. So let's listen to this guy.
That is literally cable, but shittier. Uber just created rideshare where they have predetermined locations that people can meet at, and Uber will come and pick you up among all the other people that show up and drive on a predetermined route to drop people off. That is literally the bus.
Isn't that crazy? So I think there is this underlying feeling in society, this underwhelmment of the future that we're living in, because it's not the future we envisioned. It's not the future, we were promised. It's like, it's just the same thing we had, but like more complicated in a lot of ways. And I think maybe there's a resentment because we resent when people lie to us. And maybe there's a feeling that we're being lied to because they're calling it something new, but we know it's the same thing. Just thoughts.
It is exactly the bus, but shittier. I swear to God, we are like 6 months away from people coming out and saying, oh my gosh, I'm so tired of losing my phone. If only there was a way to have it mounted to my wall and connected to a wire so I know I won't lose it and I know it won't drop calls.
I mean, bro, he's kind of right. That does sound attractive, doesn't it? I lose my phone a lot. I'm the guy where, like, if I'm leaving the house, I go, where's my phone? Does anyone see my phone? Where did I leave my phone? For 15 minutes, I'll look for my phone or my wallet or whatever. He's selling me on that idea. I'm like, dude, it would kind of be nice if there was like a mount that I just put the phone there. It would also keep us off the phone. Think about that. We all want to get off the phone now. Because when I was really little, you would go on the computer and you would get off the computer. And then for a while, it was good. We developed these addictions to our phones. And like any addiction, you don't know it's a problem until it's a problem. And now it's kind of starting to be a problem. Now people want to get off the phones and go back to how it was. And it's just interesting how this cookie of ours is crumbling here in the early 21st century. And how we have less and less of an appetite for new ideas, I think is interesting. Just stuff to think about. I like talking about this stuff with you guys. Anyways, let me get this out of here. Let me get this out of here. Oops. Now, I was talking earlier about how not every summer has a song of the summer. And the summer that didn't have a song of the summer was the summer of 2015. It's a very interesting summer. I don't know if you remember this, but I think the official song of the summer was Shut Up and Dance by Walk the Moon. But it was a summer where there just wasn't that big summer smash hit. You also had a come out of nowhere song that we haven't really seen in a while, but in summer 2015 we had that song, Omi Cheerleader. Do you remember Omi Cheerleader? I mean, we never heard from Omi ever again after Cheerleader. Cheerleader is a great song. Oh, I don't want to sing it because I think we'll get flagged. When I need motivation. Na, 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 na. See, that feels like summer. Even if you don't drink, you want to have a drink by the pool when you hear that song. And that was the summer of 2015. And then Demi Lovato came in like bottom of the ninth, end of summer 2015. Cool for the summer, but it was a little too late. It was a little too late for Demi. Great song. It was just a little too late. And I think what wound up winning out was Walk the Moon, Shut Up and Dance, which is kind of summery. The guy from Walk the Moon, by the way, once bought me and like every single person we were with shots at this bar. And it was so nice, but I felt so bad. I was like, dude, this is like a lot of money. Because he's like, I'm going to get you a shot and everybody you're with. And I was like, do you know how many people I'm with right now? But I don't know. He's got that F you shut up and dance money, dog. He didn't sweat it at all. He bought like 50 people a shot that night at the bar. Shout out to that guy. I don't remember his name, but he's awesome. The Walk the Moon guy. Thank you for the shots. If I ever see you again, Walk the Moon guy. They had a song recently that I liked, Walk the Moon. But it's a weird summer 2015. The summer that didn't have a song. Let's actually look at that. Billboard 2015 Songs of the Summer. Ooh. Now, see, Billboard remembers it differently. Let's bring this up on the screen for you guys. Check this out. See You Again. Charlie Puth and Wiz Khalifa. Huge song. Huge song. This was right after Paul Walker passed away. This was in the first Fast and the Furious movie that he was not in after he had tragically passed away. And this became one of the biggest songs of all time. 13 weeks. You see that on your screen? 13 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Or maybe this chart. Who knows? Other ones that summer, there's my dog, Omi, Cheerleader at number 2 in 2015. Taylor Swift, Bad Blood. Forgot about that song from the summer of 2015. Interesting. Trap Queen, Fetty Wap. Man, Fetty Wap. Remember Fetty Wap? Fetty Wap had one of the best runs in the history of music. I don't care it wasn't long. That was amazing. Fetty Wap's run from Trap Queen. Oh my gosh. He had the Remy Boys. 679. What was it? RGF Island was a great song. I want you to be mine again, baby. Shout out to Fetty Wap, man. What a run. Most people, there are artists that have been around for 20 years have not had a run like that over 12 months. That's pretty incredible for Fetty Wap. Watch Me. Oh, is this the Nene song? Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nene by Silento. That was number 5 in 2015. Can't Feel My Face, The Weeknd was at number 6. There we go. Shut Up and Dance, Walk the Moon at number 7. Lean On, Major Lazer, DJ Snake, and you remember Muh? I was so nervous. One of the first gigs I ever did in the music industry, really the first gig I ever did, was the second day of work at Billboard in 2016. They sent me a Jingle Ball, the Z100 iHeart concert at Madison Square Garden, and I had to talk to Muh. And I was like, I was already nervous. It was like the first big thing I ever did. And I was like, I don't know what to call this woman. Is it Muh? So I don't even think I said her name when I talked to her. Number 9 was Uptown Funk, Mark Ronson, Bruno Mars. And number 10, Fight Song, Rachel Platten. Wow. See, I associate Fight Song, Rachel Platten more with 2016 because I think Hillary Clinton, that was her song, right, for that election. Yeah, but these are interesting songs. Summer 2015, but not a real like song of the summer that summer. So interesting to think back. Not every summer has a song of the summer. Let me get that off your guys' screen. Is that gonna pop back up? See, now I don't know. It is going to pop back up. Okay, sorry. I'm learning this, guys. Another thing I want to talk about tonight is that we were robbed. Yeah, we were robbed. You were robbed. I was robbed. The world was robbed of something that could have been beautiful, something that could have been historic. What, may you ask? A mud wrestling match. And it's all because of the evil record labels. Did you guys see this story? Miley Cyrus says Madonna was, quote, down to mud wrestle in a 4x4 music video, but her label said no. The singer added that she also had Miranda Kerr, Nelly, and Miranda Cosgrove lined up to co-star. Are they all mud wrestling, these people? Because that's a hell of a video to visualize. So it says here that in an alternate universe, Miley Cyrus's iconic Bangers era would have been made complete with a wild music video starring Madonna, Nelly, and more superstars popping wheelies and wrestling in the mud. Unfortunately, we do not live in that universe. In an interview on the Every Single Album podcast posted Thursday, June 5th, the Flower singer revealed that she had been dead set on rounding up a star-studded group of friends to shoot a raucous visual for her song 4x4. a song off her smash hit 2013 album that ultimately never became a single. I had everyone lined up, Cyrus said. Nelly, Madonna was down to do the video, Miranda Cosgrove. This was before Taylor had a lot of famous people in her crew. I was friends with famous people first, she says, laughing. I wanted to do that. I had an effing squad. My squad was very, very cool. Cyrus claimed the idea was eventually shut down by RCA, her label at the time, whom she quipped didn't want her talking about a pit bull and urine in a song they'd be promoting. Madonna was down to mud wrestle with Miranda. And Miley says, I was like, I'm going to get all these girls, all these supermodels, all these Victoria's Secrets models, and all of these pop icons to come to my dad's farm, get in the back of 4x4s, and we were going to mud wrestle, and we're going to go out and do donuts. Can you imagine? RCA, damn you. That would have been awesome. I wonder who would have won. That's pretty crazy. Miley's obviously out promoting her new album that is out and available. I think it's out and available, right? I said that. I didn't really think of it. I think it came out like a week ago, didn't it? I also have a question for you. Are girl groups coming back? Because, like, the reason I ask, are girl groups coming back? There's that group Flow, FLO. They're touring the U.S. That's a girl group. I just saw today 88 Rising. They have a new girl group. They're called Nona. They're from Indonesia. It's made up of members Christy, Bella, Esther, and Shaz. And they have a single called Shoot that's out now. And then I started thinking about Fifth Harmony's coming back. They're reuniting. Apparently they're going to do a tour without Camila Cabello. But it is weird. Like, it seemed like in the late 2010s, there were so many boy bands and girl groups. You had Fifth Harmony, you had Little Mix, you had, in the boy bands, you had CNCO, Why Don't We, BTS, Monsta X, you had Pretty Much. Remember Pretty Much? You had all these different boy bands and girl groups, and then seemingly out of nowhere, gone. Gone. All about the solo artist now. It was like right around when TikTok came out too. Like, did TikTok do that? Because isn't that interesting? We had so many boy bands and girl groups. And then probably there's more that I'm forgetting. And now, not so much. Could just be cyclical, but I think it's kind of interesting, don't you? Where'd they go? What happened to all the boy bands? What happened to all the girl groups? Maybe they'll come back? Looks like the girl groups are coming back. You think a boy band could work in 2025, 2026? Have we evolved past boy bands? Obviously, there's a lot of K-pop boy bands still doing their thing. But there's not a lot of, like, American boy bands anymore, if any. Can you name an American boy band right now? I don't know. Interesting, right? This is a crazy story. Hold on. I have to bring you this. 1 second, guys. I'm clicking on so much stuff on the back end here. It's crazy. I'm mounting up the tabs. There I am. I don't want to X out of this. But it is weird. Like, I don't know what happened to all the groups. Well, this is... I'm not going to make light of this story at all. And I don't mean to... I don't mean this in a joking way. But truly, if you ever, like, think about... How do I want to put this? I truly believe that karma is real. And even if it doesn't come back to bite you today or tomorrow or the next day or the next month or the next year, you are a human being. You do have a conscience. And doing selfish things, doing things that hurt other people, the universe has a funny way of teaching you that lesson that you're going to learn your own way. And I don't mean that in a vengeful way. I don't mean that in a spiteful way. I don't mean that in like a threatening way. But listen to this story. I think this is a pretty remarkable story here that I don't even know if I should put this up on the screen because it has a word that gets flagged a lot. But Billy Joel, incredible singer, legendary guy, Billy Joel opened up and detailed multiple deletion attempts, if you catch my drift, after having an affair with a friend's wife. Now, we're going to read into this, but what I would imagine what it's about is just the guilt was so much. That's why, dude, I can't lie to people, bro. I've never cheated on a girlfriend. I've never lied in a really bad, hurtful way because the guilt would kill me, dude. Like seeing that person every day and knowing that you know something they don't know. There's like a robbery to that. Like you're stealing part of their life. You're stealing part of their truth. You're stealing part of their time. Because now this entire arrangement between you and them is under a false pretense. And I think that's just the worst feeling, man. So anyways, Billy Joel is reflecting on his 2 deletion attempts earlier in his career when he had an affair with his bandmate's partner and later his first wife, Elizabeth Weber. So it says, Billy Joel is reflecting on a dark chapter in his life. In his latest Billy Joel, So It Goes documentary, there's a new documentary coming out about Billy Joel. The Piano Man singer revealed he attempted deleting himself twice after his affair with his former bandmate's wife came to light. According to the 76-year-old, he and his close friend John Small, who originally met in 1965, formed the rock group called Attila in 1969. That's how far back the story goes. And as the band began to make waves in New York, he moved in with John and his then wife, Elizabeth Weber, and their son. Elizabeth, 76 as well, noted that she and the Grammy winner spent a lot of time together before their slow build romance started. This is according to People magazine. Billy eventually told John about the affair, which led to a heated fight that ended both their friendship and the band's short-lived career. Billy says, I felt very, very guilty about it. They had a child. I felt like a homewrecker. I was just in love with a woman, and I got punched in the nose, which I deserved. John was very upset. I was very upset. The former couple's split took a toll on Billy as he moved out of John's home and started drinking. He also reunited with Elizabeth years later, and the two got married in 1973 before calling it quits in 1982. But despite rekindling their romance, the guilt from the previous affair still affected him. So that's always an interesting debate. So let's say you cheat on your partner with somebody. You and your partner break up. You start dating the person that you cheated on your original partner with. Does that make it any better? I'll even raise you one. I know somebody who cheated on a friend of mine that then married the person they cheated with. They married the person they cheated on my friend with. Had a baby with this person they cheated on my friend with. And now they're married with a kid. So, does that make it better? It has to make it better, right? That totally makes it better. But I've also heard women say that they would rather their man cheat with like a one-night stand than like emotionally cheat with somebody serious and have like an emotional relationship. So I also think that's interesting. I don't think cheating's ever good, but I think it does change a little bit if you date the person you cheated with afterwards. Not for me, would never do that, but I do think that changes the dynamic. Anyways, Billy Joel goes on to say, I had no place to live. I was sleeping in laundromats. Isn't that so crazy? You think a guy like Billy Joel, you've had it made forever. I was sleeping in laundromats. He says, I was depressed to the point of almost being psychotic. So I figured that's it. I don't want to live anymore. I was just in a lot of pain. The rock singer tried to delete himself by consuming an entire bottle of sleeping pills, resulting in him being in a days-long coma. He then drank a bottle of Pledge, I don't know what that is, which led John, who still wasn't on good terms with Billy at the time, to take him to the hospital. Even though our friendship was blowing up, John saved my life. This John guy sounds amazing. The former friends eventually reconciled, but Billy knew he needed to extend that same grace to himself. Shortly after his second hospitalization, the piano player checked himself into an observation ward. Did you have any idea this happened to Billy Joel? I mean, even if you don't listen to Billy Joel, he's so famous. I didn't know any of this happened to him. He stayed there for a few weeks, and he says, I got out of the observation ward, and I thought to myself, you can utilize all those emotions, channel that stuff into music. So I guess eventually he did that, and lo and behold, obviously, he's in a better place now. That's crazy, though. And kind of just goes to show, no matter if it's Billy Joel or the guy next to you at the stoplight, you never know what people are going through. I've been trying to do a lot better job of that in my life, of just like somebody was rude to me at the airport today, a guy that worked at the airport. He's just kind of loud and yelling at me about something he didn't need to be yelling at me about. And I just let it roll off the back, roll down my back. Because I was just like, man, he could have broken up with his girlfriend today. He could have gotten into a fight with his mom today. Somebody might be sick in his life. What's the big deal if he's kind of barking at me? Who cares? Just something to think about, I also saw this in the news. Lil Wayne has a new album out today. Yes, sir. And it's getting mixed reviews. People have a lot to say about it. But a lot of people are talking about how Lil Wayne on it, I guess, let's read into this so we know what we're talking about. So Lil Wayne samples Weezer's Island in the Sun. Weezer's Island in the Sun is one of the biggest alternative rock songs of all time. I used to work at K-Rock in Los Angeles. We probably played Island in the Sun at least once a day, maybe multiple times a day. I mean, in present day. Huge song off their Green album from 2001. Great album. Hash Pipe's off that album. And do you know the story of Hash Pipe? You ever hear this story? Rivers Cuomo has written so many songs for other people that you don't even realize. I mean, he worked with Crazy Town. Remember Crazy Town? You wouldn't think that. You wouldn't think Rivers Cuomo from Weezer ever worked with Crazy Town. He wrote a song for the band Cold. Stupid Girl. Wouldn't think that. And he wrote Hash Pipe for Ozzy Osbourne. And if you listen to Hash Pipe, it doesn't sound like a Weezer song. It's really aggressive compared to like a Buddy Holly or a Sweater Song or a Say It Ain't So. It's very aggressive. And you can kind of hear Ozzy on it. And I know that because he told me that when he came to K-Rock. Kind of wild. And I guess, I don't know, it just didn't work out. So then he kept it for Weezer. Anyways, Green album, Hash Pipe. Is Go Fishing off that album? That's a great song, I think, off the Green album. And then also, of course, Island in the Sun. Now, Lil Wayne samples that on a song called Island Holiday. And everyone's making a big deal that Lil Wayne is sampling this rock group. Oh my God, that blows people's minds. Lil Wayne and Weezer. Lil Weezer, they're giving it all these names. Like, why would he do that? That's so crazy. Why? Like, Lil Wayne likes rock music? Bro! Lil Wayne has been a rock fan. First of all, let me give you some game on Lil Wayne and rock music, bro. The first rock single he ever put out, Hot Revolver, love that song, by the way. That song interpolates Green Day Basket Case. Do you have the time to listen to me whine? She's asking who's on the other line. You diss me every time. You say na. I'm obviously a big Weezy fan. I could go all night. You don't want to hear that. He literally starts his rock career with an interpolation of Green Day in 2008, 2009. He releases a rock album called Rebirth. That was a rock album. He signs Kevin Rudolph. What is Kevin Rudolph's first lead single? Let It Rock. Lil Wayne signs Limp Bizkit, bro. Did you know that? Lil Wayne and Cash Money Records signs Limp Bizkit. Go to Google. There are pictures of Lil Wayne, Birdman, and Nicki Minaj with Fred Durst. It is weird, but it's real and it happened. They have a song together. Lil Wayne has a song with Limp Bizkit. Lil Wayne has always been about rock. So before everyone goes crazy that goes, oh my God, who saw this coming? He's got MGK on the record, dog. Mod Sun produced one of the beats on the album. Those are two of the most successful people in the world of alternative rock, pop, punk, whatever you want to call it. I don't play that genre game, but if you do, dress it up however you want. Those are two of the guys that were most prominent over the past couple of years, and they're on a Wheezy record. So anyways, if you like the song, if you don't like the song, that's one thing. Don't act surprised that Lil Wayne is sampling Weezer. That should not surprise you. I like it. I'm into it. What else do I want to talk to you guys about? Talked about all of this. Oh, you know what I was going to talk to you guys about? Actually, let me check in with the chat real quick. I just want to say what's up to everybody. What's up, everybody? What's up, Yosu? Yosu Miranda. How are you? Happy Friday night to everybody. I'm telling you, when you have a mustache, you got to get used to it. Another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is Lizzo Truth Hurts. This came up because Stereo Gum does this great article, I think every week, called Number Ones. And they do these deep dives, and they're such cool reads if you're a history nerd, if you're a music lover, if you love to look back on what was really popular in a given year. But Truth Hurts Lizzo doesn't get enough credit. Truth Hurts Lizzo, I would argue, is the first peek we ever got into the music industry we know as it is today. Because it was this anomaly of a song at the time in the spring of 2019. I think it eventually goes number one in the fall of 2019. But I will never forget, second season on TRL, Lizzo comes by, and you can probably find this somewhere on YouTube, comes on TRL, and she promotes Juice. This song called Juice. Blame it on my juice. Something like that. I remember the video was like, she's on an 80s talk show or something. I think we may have played a game that day involving juice or working out or something to that effect. But anyways, when she came on TRL in April of 2019, it was all about juice. That was the single. Juice, juice, juice. Right? Juice. And then, out of nowhere, this song from 2 years ago starts going viral. And TikTok was so new. To anybody that wasn't 14 years old, TikTok was like Mars in 2019, in the spring of 2019. I remember being at MTV, and they were like, yeah, we're going to put TikToks in TRL. And I remember being like, nah, you got to get on Thriller, man. Thriller's where it's at. And I was like, what's that, TikTok? I'm like, bro, that sounds like a Kesha song, bro. Like, why are we going to do that? Why would we put TikToks on TRL? How stupid do I sound, right? So anyways, it was this very foreign concept in the spring of 2019. And then Lizzo's song starts going kind of viral on there. And there may have been some other drivers of it. And so it becomes this hit. And at the time, it's like this anomaly. And everyone's like, bro, like, what's going on? You know, like, what do you mean this song from 2 years ago? Why would a song from 2 years ago? What did we miss? And what we missed is we didn't realize that the fans and the public were going to determine singles going forward. They were going to tell us what was popular. The industry wasn't going to tell anybody what was popular. The industry was going to have to evolve and adapt and respond now, and not be the people directing orders on what was popular and what wasn't, but rather receiving that information of what was popular and then doing something with it and putting sort of like the, pulling the levers and putting the machine behind the fan anointed, the listener anointed songs. And that was a big shift. And people didn't realize that at the time. And then Lizzo does that. And people forget that Lizzo did that. And then we got Lil Nas X, Old Town Road. And then we got Doja Cat, Say So. All driven by this TikTok phenomenon. And boy, was it a phenomenon. I mean, if you weren't there, I mean, TikTok is still probably the most powerful discovery tool for music in media today and in content today. But I mean, that was next level, bro. I mean, TikTok got so big, bro. Drake had to do a TikTok song dance. He had to do the Tootsie slide. I think Tootsie was like a guy who danced on TikTok. Forgive me, I'm not familiar with Tootsie's game. but he had to try to make it sound like he was like sliding like on an op. He tried to make it sound like, he tried to use that double entendre for what slide meant. But you remember that Drake had to play the TikTok game because it got so big in 2020. Slide to the right, slide to the left. Basically, I'm saying either way, we about to slide, right? It was a masterful lyrical job by Drake, but he still had to play that game. And it was just, TikTok was just potent at that time. Potent at that time. It made hits out of songs that people forget about now. Arizona Zervis, Roxanne, all she want to do is party all night. Remember that? That was a big TikTok song. Pow Fu, Coffee for Your Head, big TikTok song. Those were huge TikTok songs. It was really, really big. But Lizzo, Truth Hurts, I think was the first ever TikTok song. That's what I'm willing to say. You can let me know what you think. That was on my mind this week. I did see this. I thought to talk about this with you guys. So Nick Jonas is going to play Paul Stanley in a biopic about Kiss. I saw this headline and I wanted to talk about it. Nick Jonas is a really cool guy behind the scenes. And every time I've ever done business with him, I don't sell him steaks. When I interview him on TV and shit like that, always been a cool guy. And it was interesting timing because, Joe Jonas just released a sophomore album. It's called Music for People Who Believe in Love. Love the song. Is it Water Under the Bridge? I think that's what it's called. Love that song from Joe Jonas. But anyways, this is per Deadline. The McG directed movie centers on the formation of Kiss, and Jonas is is in final talks to be the band's vocalist, and he will do his own singing. Interesting. The film is slated to go into production at the end of the year or in early 2026, and casting is currently underway. Now, if you don't know who McG is a legend. McG did some of the biggest 90s videos of all time. Did Korn, Got the Life, did Sugar Ray. Tons of videos with them. Went on to direct Charlie's Angels. Let's go. I'll give you an idea. McG music videos. These are just 5 he did. Pretty Fly for a White Guy, Offspring, McG. All-Star, Smash Mouth, McG. Bare Naked Ladies, 1 Week, McG. Fly, Sugar Ray, McG. Got the Life, Korn, McG. So he goes on, and he also does Charlie's Angels with Cameron Diaz and Lucy Liu and Drew Barrymore. I think Tom Green's in that movie. Shout out to Tom Green. So it sounds like McG is now directing the Kiss biopic. That is cool, because this is a guy that loves rock music, that has an aesthetic for rock music. And I've always loved, he kind of had that real saturated look in the late 90s, if you're familiar with the videos I was just talking about. Southern California guy, McG is. And I think this is really cool. And I love that Nick Jonas is from the East Coast. He's from Jersey. He's from New York City. That's where Kiss is from. I think this is going to be really dope. I'm wondering, though, what do Kiss fans think about this? Because if you're a hardcore Kiss fan and you're like, you're that rock head with the horns up and you're precious about your Kiss, how are you going to feel about a guy who used to be in a boy band playing Paul? I'm curious. If you're one of those guys right now watching, let me know in the comments. But this will be interesting. And this wasn't even the only Jonas Brothers news that I saw this week. And I have a question. What is the big deal about Camp Rock? I'm not hating on Camp Rock. I'm not against Camp Rock. I just don't know anything about Camp Rock. Never got the Disney Channel. There were 2 kinds of kids in the 2000s. You either had the Disney Channel or you didn't have the Disney Channel. And depending on which kid you were, you had entirely different childhoods. Even Stevens, no idea what that is. No idea what that is. Lizzie McGuire? Oh, you mean Hillary Duff? I know Hillary Duff. I don't know Lizzie McGuire, bro. What else was on there? Raven Simone? I don't even know. That's So Raven. Never saw it, bro. Cheetah Girls? No. I know of all this stuff because you would hear about it at recess. You would hear about it at the lunch table. But that was like rich kids had the Disney Channel. I never had the Disney Channel. I had Nickelodeon. I wasn't like, living out of a box. I had Nickelodeon. Never had the Disney Channel. But if you're a millennial, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That is a different thing. If you had Disney Channel, that was one childhood. You didn't have the Disney Channel, completely different childhood. And you would find out about these people. Like I found out who Miley Cyrus was when she had that song in the radio as Hannah Montana in 2007 because I heard it on the radio. But I didn't know about Hannah Montana before that. I didn't know about Demi Lovato until she had that song, which I think is her best song, the Don't Forget About Us. Is that what it's called? Don't Forget? Love that song. That song rules. But that's when I found out about Demi Lovato. I knew about the Jonas Brothers, like probably because I'm from Jersey and they're around my age and like girls were really into it, but I didn't know them on Disney, right? Anyways, Camp Rock is a mystery to me. Explain to me, like I'm an idiot, which shouldn't be hard, why is Camp Rock so beloved? Why is it so important to you? What am I missing and misunderstanding about Camp Rock? I never saw Camp Rock. What did I miss out on? I want to know. Tell me. Because Camp Rock 3 is in development right now, and that is huge news apparently. So Camp Rock 3, I didn't even know there was a Camp Rock 2, bro. That's how out of the loop I am. That's how not in on this I am. So Camp Rock 3 is reportedly being developed. That's big news in the world of Disney kids and Disney adults this week. But please, I'm not kidding. Explain Camp Rock to me. That went right over my head as a kid. Completely over my head. You know what else I wanted to bring up is the Carter 6 is out today. So let's look at the Carter 6 and the features on the Carter 6, okay? Let's check this out. So the track list for Lil Wayne's new album. You got Big X The Plug, Jelly Roll, Big Sean, Bono. Bono is on this album. 2 Chainz is on this album. And Andre Bocelli is on this album. Wyclef Jean is on this album. Manny Fresh is on this album. Lil Novi is on this album. MGK is on the album. Kodak Black is on this album. Who did I not just name? Drake is not on the Carter 6. So I saw that and I go, wait a minute. What's going on there? I mean, I don't need to tell you the history that Drake and Wayne have. I mean, Wayne put Drake on. Wayne co-signed Drake. Drake's profile picture right now, if you go to his Instagram, @ChampagnePappy, Pappy, is Lil Wayne. Drake has a tattoo of Lil Wayne. Why is Drake not on this album? And then a buddy of mine said, I don't think Drake was on the Carter 5. So I looked. Drake's not on the Carter 5. So what about the Carter 4? Drake's on the Carter 4. I mean, that's going way back, though. That's 2011. Drake is on She Will, classic song. Wow, that's a long time ago, 2011. I'm just thinking about that. So here, let's ask, when was the last time that Drake was on a Lil Wayne song? Let's just say a song. Let's see. Let's see if we can get some answers here for you guys. All right, it says the most recent official collaboration between Drake and Lil Wayne was on the track You Only Live Twice, featured on Drake's album Certified Lover Boy, released on September 3rd, 2021. So that's already 4 years ago, or almost 4 years ago. The song also includes a guest verse from Rick Ross. That song actually is great. Please go check out that song if you've never seen that song. Listen to that song. Prior to that, they teamed up on Seeing Green. That was a great song. A track by, oh, we have a bug, guys. We have a little moth flying around. Prior to that, they teamed up on Seeing Green, a track by Nicki Minaj featuring both Drake and Lil Wayne, released in May 2021. This song marked a reunion to the Young Money trio and was well received by fans. Before that, in November 2020, Lil Wayne released the mixtape No Ceilings 3, which includes the track BB King Freestyle, which features Drake. I remember that. And there have been other tracks circulating online that feature both artists, such as Love Wasn't Enough and Obsessed With You. These appear to be unofficial releases or fan-made projects, which is a huge thing now with AI, of course. You can put anything on a song. So it sounds like it's been about 4 years since they did a song together. Why is that? Why do Drake and Lil Wayne not do music together anymore? If you know, let me know. I have no idea, but I think that's interesting. They used to make a lot of music together. Now they don't make music together. It's kind of interesting. Is that a label thing? Is that this Drake lawsuit thing? Yeah, I wonder. And I love them together. I love Lil Wayne with Drake. I think they're great. But I think that's really interesting. Maybe something's brewing, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not trying to spread rumors over here, but I'm just thinking that there might be something there. What else I want to talk to you guys about? Guys, we covered a lot tonight, didn't we? I guess we have to talk about this. We might start a new segment on the show. We've got to talk about blank. We've got to talk about Alex Warren. This is a weird one. This is a really weird one. I mean, any way you slice it, it's a strange story. Okay? So let's bring this up on your screens. Thanks for everybody tuning in live. What's up to Rebecca? How are you? Okay. Beautiful. Great shot. All right. Alex Warren has hit number 1 on the Hot 100. Alex Warren has hit number 1 on the Hot 100 with his song Ordinary. I have never heard this song until I sought out the song. How? I'm not a hermit. I drive a car. I listen to the radio. I have a streaming platform I use. I work in music. I live in culture. I go out to dinner, to the bar. I travel. I have never heard this song. Where is this song living? Where is it being played? Where is it existing? And where is it consuming so much of culture? Where is it permeating to such a level of ubiquity that it can be number 1 on the Hot 100? I'm not saying it's illegitimate. I'm coming from a place of curiosity. Because to me, this has never happened my entire life. The number 1 song in the country. And not a song that debuts. You know, like Morgan Wallen and Tate McRae debuted at number 1. I don't think that song will go back to number 1 unless he gets a ton of radio support. It might. But, you know, it's like you have those like flashes in the pans aren't the right word. But you have those songs where it's like, well, you're both just so effing famous. You both have so many monthly listeners that mathematically, if you do a song together and you both, you know, get primary artist, which is a term for, you know, you can do a song with somebody and then it doesn't wind up on their page. They have to be a primary artist on the song. And by the way, that's something that people negotiate. That's a thing where an artist could ask for more money or more of a split or what have you, a more share of the record if they're like a bigger artist than you. And they're like, well, yeah, like if you want this on my page, it's worth something. They put a number to that, etc. So sometimes you'll do a feature And artists will make this mistake where they'll do a feature with a big name. The big name doesn't give them primary placement. And then it kind of defeats the purpose because it doesn't even matter in the algorithm that this big artist is on your song. That's a whole other story. But there's songs like that where you get Tate McRae, who's got a bajillion monthly listeners, and Morgan Wallen, who has a bajillion monthly listeners. Just mathematically put them together, this song will go number one invariably the first week, no matter if it's good or not. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying that's that kind of number one. But you dive into this song from Alex Warren, this wasn't a debut at number one. This was a slow building song to get to number one, or a reasonably slow building song. It was a builder. And I've never even heard of this guy. So I get curious. I'm not a hater. I learned that this week on the internet. You know that? So if you don't like something, you're a hater. If you do like something, you're like trying to sleep with the person, man or woman. There's no in between. If you support somebody on the internet, they're like, yeah, get off his, you know what. If you are disagreeing with someone on the internet, you're a hater. You're a loser. Get a life. It's interesting how that works. So anyways, I wanted to read into this. Alex Warren. So it says Alex Warren's Ordinary ascends to number one on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming the singer-songwriter's first leader on the list. It rises from number 4 after reaching the previous number 2. Warren becomes the first male solo artist to earn an initial Hot 100 number 1 this year. Okay. Ordinary is the 1,181st number 1 on the Hot 100 66-year history. That's amazing to think that not over 1,000 people necessarily, maybe, but over 1,100 songs have been number 1 in the Hot 100. Have had the number 1 song in the country. You would think that would be such like an exclusive group, and I guess it is when you consider how many songs have come out, but it's interesting to think about that. On the Hot 100, Warren charted one prior entry, Burning Down, last October. Again, I apologize, guys, for the coughing. I really do. I don't know what it is. Concurrent with the coronation of Ordinary, he has his second top 40 Hot 100 hit as Bloodline with Jelly Roll debuts at number 32. Jelly Roll's got it made. Jelly Roll's got the best gig in music. It's like whenever somebody wants to go really big, you get Jelly Roll on your song. Like Wayne has Jelly Roll on a song with Big Sean that was really good today. Jelly Roll did a song with Eminem off his last project. Jelly Roll did a song with MGK. Jelly Roll is like the most famous person in America right now. It's crazy. Good for Jelly Roll. One of the most likable people in America too. Now, before concentrating on music full time, Warren grew a following in Hype House. Oh. Interesting. A group of TikTok content creators that frequently collaborated, and he signed to Atlantic Records in 2022. He said, in my career, I have been so open with my friends who follow me. Okay, his followers. They know everything about me, and we're so connected, and I love that. I'm thinking of these people while I'm writing these songs because I'm thinking about what I would want to hear if I was still going through that. Okay, so is he a songwriter? Did he write this song, Ordinary? Okay, so he wrote... Wait, did he... Is that... Oh, okay. He wrote it with Adam Yaron, Cal Shapiro, Mags Duval. Okay. It says the song talks about the feeling of loving somebody who makes life extraordinary. Yeah, I know what the song's about. Okay. We're still not talking though about like what is driving this. So hold on. What is driving this song? Okay. Ordinary tallied 21 million official streams, 43.5 million radio airplay audience impressions, and 8,000 sold in the United States. He also performed the song in the American Music Awards. I did see him do that. The track is also on the digital songs, streaming songs, radio songs. Okay. Now, this is fun. So the number 1 song last week on the Hot 100 was Ordinary by Alex Warren, his first ever number 1. Here are all of the other songs that have the word ordinary in them that have charted highly on Billboard. Ordinary World, Duran Duran, hit number 3 in 1993. Ordinary People, John Legend, number 24 in 2005. No Ordinary Love, Sade, number 28, back in 1993. By the way, please, if you like that song, if you like Sade, if you like the Deftones, listen to Deftones' No Ordinary Love, their cover of Sade. Chef's kiss. Ordinary Life, Chad Brock, number 39, 1999. Ordinary Things, Ariana Grande, number 55 on the Hot 100 in 2024. Ordinary, by The Weeknd, hit number 72 in 2016. Ordinary Love, U2, hit number 84 in 2014. And Ordinary Girl, oh, I love that song. Hannah Montana, number 91 way back in 2010. So that's pretty cool to think about that. So we're not really explaining why this song got so incredibly big and ubiquitous, which still kind of remains a mystery to me. Because here's my thing, is like, when I finally heard the song, my first thought was, this sounds like Hozier. And then my second thought was, how many people hear this on the radio and think it's Hozier? And there's something about that voice that's like really hot right now, that Hozier voice. Like there's a guy, Miles Smith, had a big radio hit last year, Stargazing. Sounds just like Hozier. And then I wonder, does it matter in today's day and age if people know who you are? Does it matter if people know who sings the song? Because I don't know if people know who Alex Warren is. It's not a knock on Alex Warren. I'm not being a jerk to Alex Warren. I'm just saying, like, do people know who Teddy Swims is? Teddy Swims is one of the biggest songs in history. Lose Control. And the song he just dropped today is probably going to be a wedding song for a generation. It's that beautiful. Teddy Swims is that talented. I wonder if people know who Teddy Swims is, or if people know the song. But there's this long history of this archetype that does really well seemingly every year. And it's the UK, European singer-songwriter with this type of lower register voice. You think about Hozier, Take Me to Church, Miles Smith last year, Stargazing, James Arthur, remember James Arthur, Say You Won't Let Go? Remember Rag and Bone Man? It's kind of the same idea a little bit. Teddy Swims, I mean, he's American, but kind of the same idea, like this kind of out of nowhere vocal powerhouse. We seem to really like that guy. Passenger, you remember Passenger? I mean, the guy who kind of was that archetype and broke it, because it's tough to break, and became a megastar was Ed Sheeran. I would have guessed A-Team. God, A-Team's such a good song. That's a song that brings you back to a place. When's the last time you listened to A-Team by Ed Sheeran? I bet you if you threw on A-Team right now, you would go back to wherever the hell you were in your life, the fall of 2011. I love that record. What's the orange record called? It's not Divide. Is it the Plus? Is it Plus? It might be Plus. I don't know. But that record where it's orange, special song. But yeah, Ed Sheeran broke that. I mean, he really did. I would have surely bet in 2011, 2012 that he was going to be that archetype I'm talking about. So I wish Alex Warren all the best in the world. Louis Capaldi, another example of what I'm talking about. It's funny when you think and you take a step back and you think about music, though, and you go, wow, there are a lot of these repetitive archetypes, not taking anything away from them, but that we seem to really like these types of artists for whatever reason. It's interesting. How long? We've been live for 2 hours and 15 minutes. I love it, guys. I got more stuff to talk about if you're into it. If you're into it, I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take just like a break for like a minute. And I'm just going to put up like a little counter or something like that. Let me see what I can put up for you guys in the way of that. All right. I will be back in, it's going to say 10 minutes, but I'll be back in like less than 10 minutes. So here, I'll put this up. I'll be right back. All right, we are back. Thank you for guys that are here live, and thank you for waiting. Getting a little tired, but there's a lot I want to talk to you guys about, and this is a big anniversary, and maybe we'll do like happy birthday segments, but basically, this is a 20 years, if anybody wants to guess what it is, 20 years since something. An album, basically. Na, 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 na. All right, let's bring this up. It has been 20 years since Monkey Business. It has been 20 years since Monkey Business from the Black Eyed Peas came out. I cannot stress to you enough how 2005 this album is. It's funny with nostalgia because with nostalgia, these things, the past gets reinterpreted. And we pick and choose what we want to use to define an era, right? You see this with emo music. Like, you would imagine that the biggest emo song of all time was I Miss You by Blink-182, right? Just because of the memeing of where are you and the Tom DeLonge voice and the universe that has spawned. That was a song, and it was a song amongst many songs in 2004 that we listened to. Or like, you would imagine like, oh my God, Mr. Brightside, that must have been everybody's favorite song. No, I just remember like there was like a weird blue lady in the video. It was a popular song, but I think we forget that we're like, there's popular things in culture, and then there are like your favorite things in culture. And we omit a lot of stuff. Like when I think about like music me and my friends listened to in the early 2000s, like, you know who never gets talked about? Finch. The band Finch. We loved Finch. Loved Finch. Who, like, what else was really big in the early 2000s that kind of doesn't get talked about a lot? Lots of stuff, man. But the Black Eyed Peas, they get remembered for I Got a Feeling. Their whole run started in 2005. Now, I wonder, did they get an iPod commercial? They may have done that. That was a huge thing back in the day. If you could get an iPod commercial, dude, Jerk It Out by the Caesars, out of here. Let's get a list of the songs that were in iPod commercials. Songs that were in iPod commercials in the 2000s. Yeah, dude, I mean, this would break a song. If you got into one of those silhouette ads, right, where you had the vibrant color backgrounds and the black silhouette of the person listening on the white headphones, listen to these songs. Jets, Are You Gonna Be My Girl? U2's Vertigo. Feist's 1, 2, 3, 4. That I think was for the color iPod or the video iPod. Coldplay's Viva La Vida. The Ting Tings, Shut Up and Let Me Go. I mean, these are, like, that's what the 2000s felt like. It wasn't all just like, you know, flip phones and the Motorola Razr and all these things that you see now in like Y2K aesthetic. It was like the songs on these iPod commercials because the iPod was so cool. I can't stress that enough. The iPod was like Apple and iTunes became like the new MTV. Like MTV was cool at the turn of the decade, and then Apple was that cool. And that's why the iPhone got so huge, is because, like, dude, the coolest brand was making a phone. And this was in a day and age where millennials, we idolized brands. We had brand loyalty. We, like, you know, we just behaved entirely different than people behave today in terms of their relationship with brands. So anyways, I feel like Black Eyed Peas iPod commercial. Hey Mama was in an iPod commercial. Absolutely. November 2003, Hey Mama. Now, I got to imagine that's off this album, right? Let's go to the track list of Monkey Business here. Really? So was that the album before it? So anyways, if you look at this album, you got Pump It, big hit. Don't Funk With My Heart, big hit. Don't Lie, big hit. My Humps Again. I mean, these were really big songs. Let's look at the single. So released on June 7th, 2005. Don't Funk With My Heart was the lead single. Don't Lie was the second single. My Humps and Pump It. I mean, these are heaters, dude. Heaters. And I mean, this was a really interesting genre of music that I would call you know who liked the Black Eyed Peas in the mid-2000s? The kid who drank too much soda in middle school loved this album. The kid who wasn't quite relegated to Disney Channel only in the household, or they didn't come from a no MTV household, because those households existed, but they weren't allowed to really do whatever they wanted. Like maybe they could hang out with you, but on Fridays after school, not during the week. That kid, that like middle kid, this was their like rebellious music. Like the kid who like couldn't curse around their parents or didn't even want to curse because maybe they'd get in trouble. They loved that the Black Eyed Peas gave them a word like, don't funk with my heart, right? Like the kid that saw Napoleon Dynamite and then would go to Kohl's and get the shirts that would be like, I see stupid people, or you'll all work for me one day, or whatever the hell, or like just a picture of the Family Guy cast. They loved this. They loved this music in the mid-2000s. And there was this genre of music in the 2000s that is sort of long forgotten, that for like a lack of a better word, I'll just call annoying music. And Black Eyed Peas, these songs were definitely annoying. They were huge hits, but they were very annoying music. I mean, even like great artists, they dabbled in the annoying music genre of the mid-2000s. Like take an artist like Missy Elliott. Bro, you give me 90s Missy Elliott, I can't stand the rain. Oh, you give me Hot Boys. You give me, oh my, bro, you give me what her and Timbaland were doing down there in Virginia. All day. You give me Get Your Freak On all day. You give me 1 Minute Man all day. You give me the music make you lose control. No. 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 Is it worth it? Let me twerk it. Give me and then they would do this thing. The most annoying thing ever. You want to know the epitome of the annoying music genre fad of the mid-2000s? It's playing the thing in reverse that Missy Elliott did. Hated it. Hated it. Hated it. It's like the kid that wouldn't shut up off soda. It's like the kid that would it's that kid like this music. And it's interesting because there's another genre of music of the mid-2000s that doesn't get talked about a lot called what I'm calling social studies class music, okay? Social studies music. So it's music that reminds you of social studies class in middle school. And I remember there were these, like I remember in Madden, one of these Madden games, Madden 2003, they had mini camp or they had practice. For the first time ever, Madden had practice in the game. And I played football growing up, and I would have practice after school. And I would come home, and I would like to unwind and get my mind off of practice with a game of Madden, and then Madden was making me practice, and I was like, no, I don't want to do this. I just came for practice. I don't want to play a video game and practice more. I want to play a game, right? And it's like, there were these songs in the mid-2000s where it's like, I just left school. Don't teach me a lesson. I literally just want to hear about like how you're a pimp and you've got a lot of expensive stuff, or you're in a club that I'm not old enough to go to yet, and there's a lot of hot chicks there. I want to hear about that. Or like, oh, Did you like shoot somebody? That sounds exciting. Talk about that. Are you threatening to beat somebody up? Talk about that in a song, right? I like that as an 11-year-old. Give me more of that. I don't want to hear Where is the Love? That's a social studies song, okay? People living, people dying. By the way, that's just every day. People living. Is that really what the lyrics are? People living, people dying. Oh, never mind. People killing, people dying. Well, those also typically go together. It's tough to kill people without somebody dying. Children hurting, I hear them crying. This is a buzzkill, okay? This is not how you get the party started, okay? And by the way, they have a song called Let's Get It Started that was also, well, we won't go there. It used to be called something else. Can you practice what you preaching? Would you turn the other cheek again? Mama, mama, tell us what the hell is going on. Your mom, why are you putting this on your mom, dude? She don't know what's going on. You think in 2003 your mom knows what's going on in Baghdad, dude? You think your mom knows what's going on in Afghanistan in 2003, dog? Don't bring mom into this. I think that's what this song's about. I don't know what this song's about. Anyways, can't we all just get along? Yeah. That's never going to happen. I was thinking about this today. How one of the many reasons we'll never have world peace is probably because humans as a species, it's kind of interesting to think about, have the greatest disparity in intellect amongst the species. Because it's like, you don't have dogs that, like, some dogs are eating their own waste. I don't want to get flagged. And then other dogs that are launching rockets into outer space. Do you know what I mean? But there are humans that, like, are living in the woods somewhere and, like, starting families with their cousins and don't have any teeth. And then there are humans that are quite literally figuring out how to build rockets that might take us to another planet one day. And those are the same species. And I think because there's that wide spectrum of intellect and a zillion different places in between, you're never going to get everybody to agree on something. You're never going to get, like, you know what I mean? And then there's obviously a bunch of other reasons, but I just thought about that today. Neither here nor there. But anyways, listen to this verse, dude. Where is this? Okay. I feel the weight of the world on my shoulders. As I'm getting older, y'all people get colder. Most of us only care about money making. Selfishness got us following the wrong direction. Wrong information always shown by the media. Negative images is the main criteria. Infecting the young minds faster than bacteria. Kids want to act like what they see in the cinemas. That's true. That's true. But I don't want to hear this after school, dude. This sounds like what my teacher is telling me, bro. You know what else was a social studies song? And I'm sure it was a very inspiring song. And the guy's a legend. Nas, I Can. That literally, the video, it was like an after school special. And I was like, bro, if you're gonna be like 12-year-old Kevan, do you want to watch a music video with Nas that I think is at a school with a bunch of little kids that like you? Or do you want to watch the PIMP remix with Snoop Dogg and 50 Cent and G Unit and a bunch of hot chicks that definitely don't go to your school? What do you think we're going to choose, bro? So that's all I'm saying. This was very noble. Nas was very noble, but it was social studies music, bro. It was music that reminded me of the school that I just tried to get away from for 8 hours as a 12-year-old. But it was interesting because the two genres I just talked about, the Black Eyed Peas made annoying music and they made social studies music. And but they made huge, huge, huge music. I mean, this was inescapable. So let's read about some of these stats. So following the global success of their third studio album, Elefunk, the group embarked on the Elefunk tour. While, they weren't really into, like, animals. I'm remembering this now. While touring, they began recording this album, and basically they worked with a bunch of people on it. It received mixed reviews. It debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 with the first week sales of 291,000 units, becoming the group's first top 10 album. It was certified triple platinum, selling over 4 million copies in the United States, and it won 2 Grammy Awards for its singles Don't Funk With My Heart and My Humps. Now, I just said a bunch of crap about Black Eyed Peas. I will now give you the definitive top 3 best Black Eyed Peas songs of all time, okay? This is not up for debate. These are the 3 best Black Eyed Peas songs of all time. Okay. At number 3, Meet Me Halfway. Amazing song. Can you meet me halfway? Okay. Number 2 on the greatest Black Eyed Peas songs list of all time, Don't Lie. Second single off Monkey Business. Amazing song. Amazing vibe. Islandy. Kind of reminds me of No Doubt Underneath It All. Equally great vibe of that era. And the number 1 Black Eyed Peas song of all time, the best Black Eyed Peas song of all time, Just Can't Get Enough. Ugh, love that song. Later release, I think 2011 that song came out. But there you go. That is the authoritative, definitive, best Black Eyed Peas songs of all time. Now, I was just talking about my childhood, and maybe yours too if you're around my age, the 2000s, right? And there is a child right now that is blowing up on social media. And I want to show you that kid right now. His name is Seven Harris. Okay? And this is very interesting, Seven Harris. If you've never seen Seven Harris, this is going to be really interesting for you. Okay. We're going to bring up Seven Harris. I hope they don't flag it. Hold on. Okay. Can you guys see this? No, I think I got to add it to the screen. Okay. I'm not going to play the audio because God forbid I play the audio. Let me see if I can like max this a little bit. So it's like a little, no, I don't think that makes it better. Weirdly doesn't make it better. So Seven Harris is, I guess there's like a lot of kids in this. Seven Harris is the kid in the bandana. This is Seven Harris. Okay. So just a kid having a good time. I mean, I was a very creative kid. Maybe you were too. And this is kind of cool that you're able to do this, right? Like you're able to not make home videos for you and your friends, but you can be creative and develop an audience. And that's seemingly what this creative kid is doing. His dad is also a part of this. His dad is very creative. His dad runs his pages and stuff, right? And so Seven Harris just goes around and he's a little kid and he like does these songs. He does songs with his dad, as you can see right here. This is like a call and response song he's doing with his dad. And, you know, it's like some people might go, oh, this is weird, dude. Why are you doing this with your kid? But like they talk about Jesus. They talk about, you know, it seemed like they're on the up and up and it's like a positive thing. And I mean, you know how many people, you know how many fathers are not in their sons' lives that even if you think this is cringy, it's still a win because it's a dad spending time with his kid. It's a dad making memories with his kid. And yeah, it might not be your cup of tea, and I would hope it's not your cup of tea, bro, if you're not the age of Seven Harris. I wonder if that's his name, Seven Harris. I guess his dad's name's Vinny Harris. I wonder what Seven's about. That's an interesting name. But you know, it might not be your thing. I still think it's a great thing that a dad is spending this amount of time and inspiring his kid. And they obviously have a shared love of creativity. So it's just more of this, right? So this is Seven Harris. Now that you're familiar. Now I want to introduce you to the people that last week I told you about. If you want to build an anti-terrorism watch list, if you want to know who the most diabolical, dangerous people are in the United States right now, you could start with the men who are going to pay money to buy Sydney Sweeney's bathwater infused soap so that they can bathe themselves or smell this bar of soap that was infused with used bathwater of a woman that they find attractive on television. Okay? And I'm having fun with that. I got some negative comments on YouTube like, oh, lighten up, ease up, man. I'm fucking joking, dog. But at the same time, I'm not. I think you're kind of weird, dude, if you're doing that. No judgment, I guess. I guess I am judging. But like, we can actually add an addendum to that watch list of people you need to worry about. The people we need to worry about this week are the people that are leaving hate comments on this 8-year-old. I mean, I don't know how old Seven Harris is. This kid's got to be 8 years old. You're leaving hate comments on this kid's page. And some of them are like insane, dude. See, these are like nice. I gotta find one, like the real viral one. Cause I was like, bro. Dude, this guy goes, just put my fries in the bag a little, bro. He's like 8 years old, bro. Like, what are you doing? If you saw an 8-year-old on a playground shooting hoops and he airballed it, are you going to like heckle the 8-year-old? This is buns. The result of giving your child a non-parental censored tablet at the age of 2. By the way, if you could hear this, it's just like a kid made a song, dude. Is it the best song I ever heard? No, dude. Like, he's 8. Send it back to space, please. I don't know what that means. Those are the perfect size glasses to use to see your potential. I mean, like, and who is this guy? This is like an adult guy. So weird. I mean, some of these are funny. Pre-Malone, Whoopi Goldberg has snapped. This is honestly isn't much different from what y'all listened to already. I mean, I like that. Really sounds annoying. Welcome back, John Lennon. That's funny. Welcome back, John Lennon is really funny. But it's just insane. Like, dude, what are people doing? You're like, the internet just like desensitizes people to humanity. Bro, you're literally insulting a child. Like, you shouldn't even have proximity to this child, first of all. I know he's in your feed. He's also in your feed because it has an audience. But I just read that this weekend. I was like, yeah, it's an annoying song, I guess. But what? Like, I'm not going to review an 8-year-old song with like the same way I'm going to review a 30-year-old song. What are we talking about? This guy goes, ain't nobody. Oh, but he's saying it in a nice way. Okay. Well, these are nice. See the fire emojis? Maybe they're cleaning up the page because I saw a lot of mean comments this week. I see less mean comments today, which is good. I like that. But like, yeah, the moral of that story, leave Seven Harris alone. Let Seven Harris and Vinny Harris and the Harris family enjoy their life. I'm sure little kids like this. I'm sure there's adults that find it cute. We need to like do something about these dudes that are leaving hate comments on an 8-year-old's page, bro. It's weird, bro. That's weird. That's some weird behavior. Anyways, wanted to share that. A lot of different stuff in the news. What else should we talk about? Coming up on 3 hours. Very proud of us. Oh, yeah. PinkPantheress. I did want to talk about PinkPantheress. So PinkPantheress is a pop singer, if you don't know. And PinkPantheress routinely makes headlines for saying these things that drive older people insane. Like PinkPantheress said, like, music doesn't have to be longer than like 2 minutes. You just need a verse and a hook or something like that. Like, you don't need... And people thought that was sacrilegious. But why? How old is PinkPantheress? When was PinkPantheress born? PinkPantheress is 24 years old. She was born April 19th, 2001. Why are we holding these kids to standards that are our world, not theirs? PinkPantheress never knew a world where she had to buy a CD. She never knew a world where, like, why does a song? Ask yourself that. Why does a song? We need to stop doing this. We need to stop putting the values of a former generation on a new generation and judging them for it. PinkPantheress, born April 19th, 2001. She's 24 years old as we tape this video. Why should she make songs like someone made 20 years ago? And why does a song need to have a verse, a chorus, a verse, a chorus, a third verse, a chorus, a bridge, an outro, an intro? Why? Why? Somebody came up with that rule that broke a rule before it. So why does it matter if songs are 90 seconds now? Who cares? Also, like, how are you not going to make shorter songs if it's a streaming volume-based game? It's a commerce-based sport. That's going to happen. People are going to find the best ways to optimize earnings. And sometimes at the expense of art, but sometimes not at the expense of art. Because why do we need these things? Oh, because somebody told you when you were a kid you needed this stuff? No, it's BS. So anyways, I just think it's interesting. She's making a lot of news this week for this Pitchfork interview she did. And she said she wants to be married by 25. She wants to have kids this year. And people are like, oh my God, what are you talking about? This, that, the other. Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe she wanted to make music. Didn't want, because here's the other thing. Not everybody wants to be like the biggest star in the world. Maybe they just want to make music for their audience. And they did that. They scratched the itch. This is a big thing. People can scratch an itch and it's itched. You don't have the itch anymore. It's been scratched and you're moving on with your life. You don't have to do the same thing your whole life. So anyways, PinkPantheress says she wants to have kids, be married by 25 and have kids this year. Okay. Go off, queen. I don't think we should be holding people to standards that don't exist anymore, dude. I don't know why we keep doing that with Gen Z and thinking like Gen Z, oh my God, like this, that, the other. I don't want to play this and get in trouble, but I don't know. I think it's weird that we keep doing this. Because I always hear this stuff like, oh my God, can you believe Pink Panther, she thinks that her songs only have to be 2 minutes. Can you believe she said she wants to have kids and be married by 25? Yeah, because you know why? She's not burdened by all these old world ways of thinking. Why does the song have to be the structure you think it has to? Is it because like that's the way it was when you were a kid? Think about that. With a lot of your worldviews, do you think that's the right way to live life because that's the way you were taught as a kid? Maybe. I'm guilty of it too. I'm just saying. Like the universe, God didn't say that's what a song has to be, bro. And they're just going to play the streaming game, just like people played the CD game, right? People used to be albums artists and singles artists. So there are two strategies. If you wanted the number one on the Hot 100, you would release your hit as a single. If you wanted the number one on the albums chart, you wouldn't release it as a single because you would want people to have to buy your album to get the song, to get the hit. So two different strategies there. So if it's a streaming-based model and 30 seconds is a stream, why are you doing 5-minute songs? Now, if you artistically want to do that, that's cool, dude. Do whatever the hell you want. It's art. But if you're also trying to make money and you're into that, why would you make a 5-minute song? Why wouldn't you make a 90-second song? You're going to get more streams on the 90-second song. How is that different than putting your hit single on an album behind a paywall of $20 at Tower Records 30 years ago? I don't think there's any difference. That's all I'm saying, guys. Congratulations, by the way, Rick Astley. Never Gonna Give You Up. 1 billion streams on Spotify. If you don't know who Rick Astley is, of course, the meme getting Rickrolled. And how did that start, right? Song from 1987 becoming a meme in the 2000s. But yeah, 1 billion streams for Rick Astley. Let's actually look up. How did the Rick Astley Rickroll meme start? All right, so dig this. The Rickroll meme started as an internet bait and switch prank in 2007, but its roots go back slightly further. Here's the origin story. You ready? So the precursor was on the 4chan website called Duckroll. On the forum, 4chan users began a prank where someone would post a misleading link promising exciting content, but instead it was a photoshopped duck on wheels. And so they would get duck rolled. So then in 2007, they upped the ante. And in March of 2007, the trailer for Grand Theft Auto 4 was highly anticipated. I remember this. And somebody on 4chan posted a link saying it was the GTA trailer, but it was actually redirected to Rick Astley's 1987 music video, Never Gonna Give You Up. The prank was a huge hit, and the term Rickrolling quickly replaced duck rolling and spread across the internet. The viral explosion was next. The bait and switch format, misleading someone to click on a link that suddenly plays Rick Astley's video, became a widespread meme, and even major companies and public figures got in on the joke. For example, YouTube rickrolled everybody on April Fool's Day 2008 by linking every homepage video to Never Gonna Give You Up. Rick Astley himself rickrolled the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Day Parade in 2008 by performing the song as a surprise. So that's pretty amazing. And good for Rick Astley, 1 billion streams. Now I have a question. How much money does 1 billion streams on Spotify, because this happened on Spotify, make? So 1 billion streams on Spotify. You want to know how much 1 billion streams on Spotify makes from a monetary perspective? 1 billion streams on Spotify typically generates around $3 to $5 million in gross revenue. But how much actually reaches the artist depends on several factors. Estimated gross revenue is 0.003 to 0.005 per stream in the general Spotify payout range. So 1 billion streams times that would either be $3 to $5 million. Now, how that money is split, Spotify doesn't pay artists directly. Payouts go to rights holders. So typically the record label, distributor, and publisher, who then pay the artist based on their contract. Breakdown example for a major label artist could look like this. The label, who are typically the master recording owner, are going to get 60 to 70% of that money. The publisher / songwriter will share 10 to 15%. And the artist is often 10 to 20%, but sometimes even less than that. So if Spotify pays $4 million and the artist gets 20%, well, they'll take home $800,000. If they're independent and they own 100% of the rights, they could keep nearly the full amount minus distribution and platform fees. So interesting. So like an example in real life, Blinding Lights by The Weeknd passed 4 billion Spotify streams. So that's an estimated $12 to $20 million in gross, but The Weeknd wouldn't pocket all of that due to the label splits, obviously. So just some interesting things to think about when you think about these numbers. But yeah, congratulations to Rick Astley. He has rickrolled us all on his way to 1 billion streams on Spotify officially. Congratulations to Rick. Do, 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 do. Crazy. What's up, Kaz? Sorry, I'm reading who's here. What's up, everybody? All right. We will do one more story from this week. Oh, bro, did you see this? Are any of you guys T-Pain fans? Got me doing things I never do. If you ain't been, I'm telling you, you do. You do. You do. All right, let me add this to the scene. 1 second, guys. It's been a long day. Okay. It's been a long day again. All right, T-Pain has announced a 20th anniversary tour. That's right. T-Pain is going out on a tour to celebrate 20 years in music. And sometimes you hear an anniversary and you go, my God, has it really been that long? But I remember 2005, the summer of 2005, and music started to change in the summer of 2005. And it was really all because of T-Pain. T-Pain's contribution to the sound of music in the decade of the 2000s cannot and will not be understated. This man was not the first person to use autotune. The first person to use autotune and have a lot of success with it, Cher, Believe. Big 1998 comeback single, hit number 1, I believe, in the Hot 100, at least on the radio songs chart in 1998. Big hit for Cher in the late 90s. Really the first example of a massive pop song using autotune. But autotune, much like any instrument, right? People played the guitar before Eddie Van Halen touched the guitar, but Eddie Van Halen played that thing like nobody had ever heard that thing wail before. T-Pain did that with autotune. T-Pain was so huge in the 2000s, bro, and so ubiquitous. He made Jay-Z, you could argue, make a song called Death of Autotune, where Jay-Z goes verbatim, you guys need to get back to rapping. Y'all T-Painin' too much. T-Pain got so huge, you had rappers trying to sing like T-Pain with the autotune. And I talked earlier tonight about we need new sounds in music. For music to be healthy and for music to be pertinent to culture and to be important, it needs to have new sounds. New sounds that we have not heard before. T-Pain was a sound we had never heard before. And T-Pain's also a great lesson in betting on yourself because you know T-Pain, you know who tried to sign T-Pain? Do you know about this? You know who tried to sign T-Pain? Was Akon. He tried to sign T-Pain to Convict Music. I hope I have this right. And T-Pain said no, bet on himself. I'm Sprung started going crazy in the summer of 2005, and he got a way bigger deal. Way bigger deal. T-Pain tells stories where he was such a surefire hit maker that when people would ask him to cut a hook on their song, because they knew it would go to radio and they knew it would get played, he would just ask for cars eventually, bro. He wasn't even asking for money. He'd be like, I want that car. You get me that car, I'll do your record. You talk to radio programmers. Radio programmers had an issue in the 2000s because they couldn't play all of these T-Pain songs. They'd have to space out T-Pain songs. You can't play the same artist all day long. This man was so ubiquitous. He had radio programmers across the country doing their jobs differently because of how successful he was. That's a game changer, bro. That's a game changer. I mean, and he had such a great attitude about the whole thing too, because he also had a sense of humor about it. Because then after his success, he does the song I'm on a Boat with Lonely Island. Classic, classic, classic. And now he's got a whole second career as a streamer, and he's a massive streamer. He probably makes more money. I don't know, actually. I could be wrong on this, but he probably makes pretty damn good money streaming. It might be comparable to what he makes in music. But let's dive into the numbers on T-Pain. Truly, look, T-Pain, Billboard chart history. Let's check this out. I'm sprung. All right, we're going to switch this up a little bit. You see this? All right. This is T-Pain in the 2000s, okay? 3 number 1 hits, 15 top 10 hits, 49 songs hit the Billboard Hot 100. So let's look at some of these. T-Pain, Low. Flow Rider featuring T-Pain, Low. Number 1 for 10 weeks. Buy You a Drank featuring Young Jock, T-Pain's own song. Number 1 in 2007. Hey Baby, Pitbull featuring T-Pain. Top 10 hit. Cyclone, Baby Bash featuring T-Pain. Top 10 hit. Got Money, Lil Wayne, T-Pain. Top 10 hit. We got to dive into this, guys. I mean, this is crazy. Blame It, Jamie Foxx featuring T-Pain. Number 2 on the Hot 100, 2009. Kiss Kiss, Chris Brown featuring T-Pain. Number 1 for 3 weeks in 2007. I'm Sprung, T-Pain, top 10 hit in 2005. You and Dat, E40 featuring T-Pain. Number 13 in 2006. Can't Believe It, T-Pain featuring Lil Wayne. Top 10 hit 2008. All I Do Is Win, DJ Khaled featuring T-Pain. Bartender, T-Pain featuring Akon. Shawty, Plies featuring T-Pain. Good Life, Kanye West featuring T-Pain. I'm a Flirt, R. Kelly and Bow Wow, featuring T.I. and T-Pain. Out of My System, Bow Wow featuring T-Pain. I'm in Love with a Stripper, T-Pain featuring Mike Jones. I'm So Hood, DJ Khaled featuring T-Pain. All the Above, Mano featuring T-Pain. Crazy, guys. Crazy. He was doing songs with Jesse McCartney, dude. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's really crazy when you think about how many anthems I just listed, bro, from a decade. Absolutely insane. Can we get a radio songs chart? Okay, let's look at this. What did he do on the radio? 17 top 10 hits on the radio. 3 number 1 hits on the radio. 27 songs on the radio. Crazy. Just absolutely crazy. And the thing with T-Pain is that T-Pain is the part of the song you remember on all those songs. That's how great T-Pain is. Crazy. It's really crazy to think about that. So anyways, if you like T-Pain, go check him out on the road this year. He's celebrating 20 years. And on that note, we're going to get out of here. Thank you very much if you were watching live. It is cool to see everybody. Rebecca says, 20 years since the White Stripes, Get Behind Me, Satan. That's true. So the White Stripes, happy birthday to the White Stripes. 20 years of Get Behind Me, Satan. Now, I want to deem that a genre that doesn't get talked about enough, okay? The White Stripes 2005 album, that is iPod rock. There's something about it to me that is just iPod rock. And that had a lot of great songs on it, didn't it? White Stripes. Bring this up. Yeah, Blue Orchid. Blue Orchid. Okay. Yeah. See, interesting. I thought Icky Thump was off that song, but I guess it's Blue Orchid. You got a blue orchid, yes you do. Right? That was cool. I dug that for sure. Anyways. Yeah, Scott Storch was killing it. We should do a video on Scott Storch. I think that would be dope. But to Kaz, Brian, to Rebecca, to Los Bud Light Bros, thank you very much for being here live, guys. I love hanging out with you. Hope I didn't bore you too much. If you can like this video or leave a comment once it's posted, that really helps me. I'm assuming you're already subscribed. Vicky's here. Hey, Kevin, hope you're doing well. Just stopping by to say hi. Thank you very much, guys. But yeah, I was really surprised and I was really shocked that like the social media clips of this stream from last week were doing so well, like hundreds of thousands of views this week across my platforms. And so I was like, oh, like people are digging it. Let's just keep doing it. And So that's what we're going to do. So if you're here, we'll probably be live for about like 3 hours every Friday night, different times. I'll let you guys know. If you already subscribe to my Instagram broadcast channel, that's where I let you guys know. I alert everybody when I'm going live over there. So make sure you join that. If you'd like to join that, it's called Connected. You can click on the link on my Instagram bio. And yeah, but you know what? You make a good point. So Kaz Bryan's like, I'm sad I missed all the Sabrina talk. Well, what's cool though is that if you subscribe to my YouTube, which it looks like you're watching on my YouTube, Kaz, I'm going to clip everything out. So if you missed anything from last week, there's all these YouTube videos you can watch on demand. You can also rewatch the stream on demand. And there's just a bunch you can do throughout the week if you want to watch any of the content or you miss any of the show. And I think these shows on Friday nights are just for kind of like hanging out and then having a little bit of this interaction that we can have right now where I can talk to you guys. And yeah. And if you guys ever have questions for me, maybe this is like the part of the show where we do that. But you don't have to have questions for me, but I'm going to be up late tonight, guys. But yeah, thank you very much. If you've watched any of my videos this week, it's really been an eye-opening week for me in terms of like, I've never been the biggest like internet guy because I've been busy with radio and TV and whether it was Amazon Music or Billboard or anything in between that I worked at. And the internet was always secondary to me and social media was always secondary to me. And then this week was really eye-opening, dude, where like, whoa, like, I mean, I got hundreds of thousands of views across the clips. And I was like, that's pretty wild. So I'm just going to go hard at this, dude. I mean, I still work at MTV and I still obviously work in the music industry. And I got some other really cool projects I can't talk about yet that I'm going to tell you guys about if you're into that. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what you typically do on Friday nights, but if you just want to like crack open a beer, if you drink beer, crack open a soda if you don't drink, and just, you know, hey, you smoke, spark up and kind of kick it and we'll see where this goes. But yeah, I appreciate you being here, and it would mean a lot to me if after the stream on YouTube, if you guys can just leave a comment. I think that really helps the video. And then if you want to like the video, that would mean a lot too. And I'm sure you guys already subscribed, so I appreciate you doing that. But yeah, seriously, any little thing you can do to support me on here, it means a lot. And I definitely appreciate that you only have so many minutes in a day and you spend some of those minutes, if not a lot of those minutes with me. So thank you very much. So I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. You can always DM me. I'll try to get back to you, everybody. And you know the deal. I mean, you're already here. You know it's at Kevan Kenney across everywhere. I'm going to be back with you tomorrow. Or sorry, not tomorrow. Next Friday. And keep your eyes out for any clips you missed. I'll be posting the Sabrina talk, all that good stuff. Have a blessed night, everybody. And I'll talk to you again soon.